welcome to the last day of the Yamato Grand Prix. We're reading out some Demon Muramasa. It's gonna be fun. We still haven't found who it is. I'm suspecting that it's none of the racers individually, and it's someone else's Tsurugi, which so far seems to be the case since we haven't seen it among the racing teams, and we've seen everyone's Tsurugi. But who knows? Maybe someone will pull out a brand new Tsurugi or accept that strange offer. Time to find out. It's the first national championship in Yamato's history.
決勝まで勝ち残った20のチーム、そして彼らの戦いを見るために詰めかけた観客席の人々。マロがなぜこの大会を開いたか教えましょう。
The 20 teams who advanced to the final and to the spectators who packed the stands to cheer their battle, I ask this: do you know why I sponsored this race?
ビよ、マロは美しいものを見たいのよ。
Beauty. I desire beauty. Of course.
強いものは美しい。巧みなものは美しい。賢いものは美しい。
Strength is beautiful, skill is beautiful, wisdom is beautiful. But you know what isn't beautiful? The insides of that guy's mouth. What on earth is that face? It's like his entire head is split in half, revealing a massive mouth that could probably swallow you whole.
そして速いものも美しい。風すらも置き去りにしてひたむきに駆け抜ける姿は、ただそれだけで目を奪われる美しさに満ち満ちている。
Like I'm thinking, you know, in what is it? Which was it? Annihilation War? Yeah, it's Annihilation War where Nova puts his hand down Annihilus's throat and rips out his guts. I'm like, man, it seems very achievable to just kill someone by doing that if their mouth opens that wide normally. That face is a little bit disturbing, I gotta say. Alright, speed is beautiful. The sight of a racer outrunning the wind fills me with joy and awe.
その美しさの極限はどこ?
Where can you find the greatest beauty?
それは最も速いもの。
Why, in the fastest racer, of course.
最も速いものは最も美しい。マロはその勇姿を見るためにヤマトグランプリを開催したのよ。
And the fastest racer is the most beautiful. I wish to behold their magnificence with my own eyes.
いいわね、あなたたち。
Are you listening? My chosen
20の騎手。最高の美を見せなさい。
Show me the ultimate beauty.
ここにヤマトグランプリ決勝戦の開始を宣言する。
And without further ado, let the final begin. Oh, he's hyped for this. So what did we ended up modifying Muramasa? What are we doing?
ねえ、程よい感じにナチュラルジャンキーな開会挨拶でした。ありがとうございます。決勝開始までもう間もなく。司会と解説は私、弾丸ライガーがお送りします。
Dangan Liger. Thank you for that message. I want to hit what he's smoking, don't you? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, that was what he said verbatim. Ladies and gentlemen, only a few minutes left to the starting countdown. I'm Bullet Liger, and I'll be your announcer for this race.
なんでよ。
放送席で大声出すなよ、ケバタ。
Trying to blow out the sound system for a basket?
誰がケバタか。司会も解説もマロの手配した人間がちゃんといるはずでしょう。なんであんたなの。
Who's up for a basket? I already hired announcers. What are you doing here?
あいつら腹痛で休み。賞味期限の切れた牛乳なんて飲むから。
I can't tell if they're doing a bit this time or he's actually just pissing him off. Oh, they're not feeling too well. Must have been that spoiled milk they drank.
牛乳
Spoiled milk?
いや、ここんとこ伊豆高原の牛乳の売れ行きが悪くてさ、エゾさんに押され気味で、うちの蔵にもだいぶ余ってんだよね。ヨーグルトになりかけのとかバター風味のとか。
Milk from Izu hasn't been selling well lately. Izu's pretty much cornered the market. So I've got these warehouses of milk just sitting around. Some of it would be easier to eat with a fork.
あんたが飲ませたんじゃないの。
You made them
さ
drink it?
あ各チームとも現在ピットで寄港準備に余念がありません。ミスは許されない。戦いはすでに始まっている。
Only a little bit suspicious. Okay, everyone, take a look at the pit where the teams are busy completing their final preparations. You can feel the tension from here. There's no room for error, folks. The battle has already
で
begun.
はここで最速を争う20チームを順々に紹介していきましょう。まずはポールポジション。
Alright, let's introduce the 20 teams that'll be vying for the title of Yamato's fastest. I assume they'll skip over like 10 of them?
小京ワークス3条7機種。機体は黄金の翼のウルティマシュール。機種はガチンコ最強と知る人ぞ知る車5。
First up in the pole position is Shokyo Weapon System's 7 Knights of Sanjo. Their crux is the golden winged tyrant Ultima Thule, piloted by the underground champion Kuruma Go. His name is Cargo.
昨日の本予選では機体名に恥じぬ凄まじい走りを見せてくれました。まさにアーマーレースの覇王。圧倒的なパワーでこの決勝も制することができるか。
They showed us their incredible power on yesterday's preliminary. Can anything stop them from dominating the final two?
そうね。今のところはここが一番期待できるかしら。ともすれば俗っぽい黄金の翼も全国制覇の息の表れと思えば悪くなくてよ。
I suppose they're the favorite at the moment. I usually find gold a little tacky, but I'll take it as a sign of their determination to claim the title.
美しく戦いなさい。その黄金がめっきと笑われないようにね。
Fight beautifully, Shokyo. Prove your golden wings aren't just for show.
続いて田村ワークス田村ファイティングファクトリー。機体は青く輝くアベンジ。機種は悲運の天才の血を受け継ぐ王子ミサオ。
And in second, representing Tamura Fighting Factory, is the shining blue Avenger. Its pilot, none other than Oshi Misao, the daughter of that ill-fated legend whose name we know so
こちら
well.
の機体も小京ウルティマと同様昨日が初登場。経典同地の爆走でした。あれはこの青いクルスの性能を限界まで出し切った結果か、それともさらに先があるのか。
Like Shokyo's Ultima, we saw this machine for the first time in yesterday's preliminary, and what a show it was! Was that explosive acceleration the best this Crux has to offer, or is there more where that came from?
せめてまぐれではないことを期待するわ。決勝をつまらない勝負にはしてほしくないもの。
I just hope it wasn't a fluke. The last thing I want is a boring race.
限界を極めなさい。その青いボディにかけて。
Surpass your limits and show me everything that blue machine can do. Presumably, we're intended to root for Avenger, since that's the only one we have an actual backstory on.
おっと開始が近いようです。巻いていきましょう。
Hey, it looks like we're about to start, folks. Let's wrap this up.
3番手シーサイドバーサーカーズ。ここはアソシエイブルのセミワークスです。機体は新鋭機レーシング 10CX。
In third are the Seaside Berserkers, the semi-works team with Aoshi Abel and their state-of-the-art RG-10CX.
奥の手スリッパークラッチは果たして効果を発揮するのか。
Will their slipper clutch prove its worth
こ
today?
この機体はデザイン面であまり冒険してないわね。性能の高さは認めるけど。
Not an adventurous design, is it? Though I suppose it has a respectable record.
4番手は横タンワークス。機体は世界を取った名機ハウンドの発展系スーパーハウンド。
In fourth, we have the Yokotan. Their entry is the Superhound, the grandchild of that famous machine that once conquered the world. The world-conquering
こ
Superhound.
の機体からベルト駆動へ転向。チェーンの小強シャフトの田村に対して優位を示したいところだが、
Looks like they've switched to belt drive. Will they be able to claim an advantage over Shokyo's chain and Tamura's shaft?
相変わらず不格好な面構えね。でも速さは正義よ。世界の頂点に立つための姿がこれだというなら貫き通しなさい。
Wait, what mech was that? It was the... Ah, okay. Yokotan's Superhound, right. As ugly as ever I see, but speed is everything. If you think you can conquer the world looking like that, then show me.
続いてはベルトの本家ヒラゴーワークス。新型機セクシーを投入して5番グリッドを確
I
保。
like how we have like a real-time commentary from the incredibly vain general who's just like, ah yes, it's this. Like, ah yes, I don't like this one, it sucks because it's ugly. Oh, this one, well, it looks pretty. Next up is the original belt drive maker Hirago. You can see they're brand new sexy in 5th position.
その異様なほど滑らかな走りには定評あり。しかしセクシーってなんだ。
Hirago's pilot's known for his silky smooth turns, but why sexy?
この会社のネーミングセンスは時々よくわからないわね。
I'll never understand how that company picks names.
6番手鎌倉松井。 フラッグシップザ・芸者に試作品とおぼしき部品を積み込んでの登場だ。
Right behind them is Kamakura Matsui. Their flagship Crux the Geisha is rumored to be sporting some prototype parts.
ここもさ、どうしてこう毎度ヤマトマニアの外国人がつけたみたいなネーミングなんだ。
Matsui too. Why do they always go with names that sound like some Yamato obsessed foreigner thought them up?
そういう人が担当なんでしょ。
Maybe that's who's in charge?
7番手月光ワークス期待ジェントルダッシュ。
In 7th is Gecko with Gentleman's Dash. Alright. For real?
はーい。
いつの間にか面白ネーミング選手権になってるんじゃないでしょうね、この大会。
So when did my race become a contest to see who can come up with the most ridiculous name? I guess you're gonna find out. Ready for 10th place? 20th place?
では
Biggest,
11番
thickest.
グリッド観光庁代表ポリスチーム。
Next in 11th position, everyone's favorite public servants, the police team.
機体は予選で破損したホットボルトに代わり、その独自アレンジバージョン
Their replacement for Hot Bolt, which is damaged in the preliminary, is a custom model
ホッ
called
トドッグだ。
Hot Dog.
てめえもかおい。
You too?
それあんたがご利用して突っ込んだ機体と機種でしょうが。
When you insisted we have in the race. Hot Dog.
何よあの名前。
Didn't you think of a better name? Muramasa grumbles as we take our position on the starting grid. It looks like her legs are missing. And I guess they replaced a bunch of pieces with racing parts. This will be interesting because he's never flown with these parts, right? Like the leg plates, shoulder pads, chest plate, all changed out. Looks like the wings got changed out too. It's gonna be interesting. Like, can you imagine driving your car for the first time in a race the day before the National Grand Prix, and you have to race against professional race car drivers? That'd be brutal. Right, yeah. Even Muramasa's not happy with that name. Couldn't think of a better one yet.
いや、お前の回想に手一杯で名前を考えている暇が。
I was too busy outfitting your disguise to give it much thought. He doesn't even know how fast this goes at top speed, right? Because we weren't even fast beforehand. We'll see. The feel of my armor is still a little unsettling. I haven't had time to get used to the newly added dead weight. I have little doubt Muramasa feels even more uncomfortable than I do.
それにこれはこれで、一応れっきとした由緒を持つ名前ではある。
The name actually has a proud lineage. It may surprise you to learn.
いい加減なこと言わないの。私が無知だと思って。
That's absurd. You think I'm an ignorant Tsurugi, don't you?
本当なん
But
だ
it does, though. I keep my protest to a whisper. Best not to further agitate Muramasa's already frayed nerves. Her sense of duty is likely the only thing keeping her from shattering out of pure embarrassment. I scan the area and we're receiving a lot of stares from the pit. Some interested, some suspicious. I suppose the Disguise can't really fool a trained mechanic's eye. Even if they can't unequivocally declare Muramasa as Shinichi without seeing us up close, they can certainly speculate, and we'd better vanish as soon as the race is over. Kimura's Avenger is also garnering its share of curiosity, though some of those stares carry a different emotion. Namely those coming from Shokyo's pit. I sense confusion and distress among them. I guess we better watch out for Shokyo again. Of course, last night's attack is not public knowledge. We reported it to the racing authorities, but they've done nothing, so these must be people who knew of it beforehand. The explosion would have been audible throughout the paddock, so I can imagine them cheering as soon as it sounded, believing their plan a success. It's no wonder then they'd be shaken by the sight of the Blue Avenger standing unharmed like an invincible titan. The Golden-Winged Ultimate, however, doesn't appear to share his teammates' anxiety. Has he already come to terms with his rival's presence, or was he kept in the dark all along? Either way, he's already deep in his own world of speed, as are the other racers. I'm the only one who can afford to pay attention to anything but the course ahead. The nice thing is, the other ones are all dummies and have to be piloted, right? Theoretically, Muramasa could do all the driving, right? Theoretically, Muramasa can operate on its own, so it could just be Muramasa piloting it and being like, yep, go fast, okay. I may as well try to beat them even if I'm not optimized for speed. We'll just put 2 bolt-ons on and boom, boom, boom. Alright, once again, Bing Bang Boom will be done. Alright, once again, I'm reminded how out of place I am here, but there's nothing I can do about that. My goal is not the same as theirs. They have come to vie for the title of fastest, while I'm here to subdue, or slay, one of their number. I'm an outsider through and through.
村正気配はどうだ。
相変わらず強く感じる。でも方向距離はやっぱりわからない。
I feel its presence as
この
strongly
周
as
辺
before,
な
but
の
I
は
can't tell
間
where
違い
it's
ないん
coming
だけれ
from.
ど。
It's definitely around here somewhere, though. I mean, I have to say, there is one upside for Muramasa if they're racing around the track. If the thing, because it seems to be a circuit. If it's in the center of the circuit, Muramasa should know by the end of a couple laps. Even better, if it's near one of the ends, they might be able to tell, after a few laps, that it's like a stronger presence towards one side or the other. If they're repeatedly going back and forth. Right? If it's like within, you know, a couple hundred meters of the track or whatever, right? You might get the gist of exactly where it is. Right? That's a thought. It also might distract you when she's like, oh, I found out where it is. It's like, oh, it's in that direction. Or something like that, right? A good opportunity to inject some drama into the race if it's sort of going smoothly, right? Yeah.
そうか。
Alright. It has to be shielded somehow. Best to assume one of the 20 finalists, or 19 excluding me, is our target, and it could be any of them.
不可時期は
When will it hatch?
もしかしたら今この瞬間にも正直
Right this
そうな
minute
ら
it
ないのが
feels.
不思議なくらいに揺れている。
Like, I can't believe it hasn't already. That's how strong the pulse is.
今日という日が昨日と呼ばれる頃までは決して持たないでしょうね。
It's not gonna last until today becomes yesterday. I promise you that, Mito.
心得た。
Understood. So the egg will hatch today, during the final most likely. I can't let my guard down for a second.
さあ、すべてのアーマーレーサーがスターティンググリッドに揃った。いよいよスタートです。
All racers have taken their starting positions. It's time for the final countdown.
全機種全監修スタートランプに注目を。あれが青になった瞬間だ。
Ladies and gentlemen, racers, keep your eyes glued to the starting lamp when the light turns
ヤ
green.
マト最速を決する勝負が今火蓋を切る。
The battle to decide Yamato's fastest will begin. Let's go race. What do you think how we're gonna do? Supposedly Shinichi are really bad at racing, so you could say like 20th, right? But that wouldn't add a lot of tension.
サマディエグゾーストシンフォニー。
Listen to the Symphony of Thunder. We had 11th as our starting position, so if we stay at 11th, we're basically like doing about what the previous team did. But remember, our 11th pole position was not gained via our own mech, so we have no clue how fast we actually are. So we might drop to 20th. I don't see us getting to 3rd, but you never know. There could be a disaster that somehow lands us on the podium.
群れをなしてホームストレートを駆け抜けていく。危険だ。クラッシュの発生率は今この瞬間が最も高い。
Pack takes to the home straight. Look out, more crashes happen here than anywhere else.
うわー13番浮いた。
What's this? Number 13's pulling up?
直撃。接触を避けようと無理な機種転換を行った13番チーム沢田浮いてしまった。コースアーチに激突。
Collision! Number 13's Team Sawada tried to avoid the other racers, but he pulled up too hard, straight into the arch. Well, there's some good news and bad news. That means we're not ending in 20th. 19th, baby!
直ちに救助が行われます。
Get that man some help.
無様ね。翼の扱いを知らない鳥は落ちて当然よ。
Pathetic. That's what happens to birds who don't know how to fly.
吹き飛んだアーチの修復も手早く行われております。この辺りはさすが熟練のスタッフ。仕事に無駄がない。一方レースは
The crew is already hard at work replacing the destroyed arch. Nice job, guys. That's what we pay you for. Meanwhile,
第一コーナーへ突入。先頭はやはりか調教ウルティマ。
Pack has entered the first corner, and at the head is no surprise here, Shokyo's
続
Ultima.
いて横田田村松井にアソシ。あとは団子だ。最後尾はポリスチーム。
And behind him are Yokota, Tamura, Matsui, and Asoshi. The rest of the pack are as follows, with the police team trailing in last. Okay, so he's already in 20th. Or 19th. It is what it is. I mean, at least he's competing, right? So, Tamura is currently in 3rd place, dropping from 2nd. Maybe they need to warm up the engines. It's possible that they're like going for like we need to warm up the tires / engines to get to full speed or something. Because they did a slow lap and then a fast lap, right? That was Tamura's strat, so either they're doing that or they're just trying to figure out like how aggressive the other racers are being and don't want to just try to blast past someone only to get like smacked in the face.
さあこの順位最初のコーナーを抜けてどう変化する
Keep your eyes peeled. How will the positions shift as they take the corner? I suppose this was to be expected.
足の性能が違いすぎるな。
We're at too great a disadvantage in speed. It's an undeniable truth that Kazuchi are inferior to Shinichi, or in numeric terms. If the maximum potential of a Shinichi is 10 points, then the maximum potential of a Kazuuchi is no more than 8. However, a racing crux is free to devote all of its 8 points to speed and maneuverability, whereas Shinichi must distribute its points between mobility and combat capabilities. Things aren't quite so clear-cut in real life, of course, but the fact remains there's a marked difference in performance between Muramasa and the rest of the Tsurugi on the track.
かけっこで勝つのが目的じゃないんでしょ。いいじゃない別に。
We're not here to play this racing game, are we? Are we? What difference does it make?
その通りだが、あまり遅れるようだと不都合が生じる。
It's true, but we can't afford to fall too far behind either. The further we are from the pack, the longer it will take to respond to the eggs hatching. And when the egg hatches, the infected Tsurugi will instantly become a copy of Ginseigo. Ginseigo's mere presence causes death and destruction, and each second wasted could result in countless victims. If possible, I'd like to remain within reach of at least the low ranks.
ポリスチームがコーナーを曲がるなんというか堅実な飛行だ
The police team rounds the corner, such steadfast piloting.
何あれクルスの性能も機種の力量も凡庸見るべき点がないわね
The crux and its pilot are both clearly out of their league. Let's move on. Is it just my imagination? I feel something prickly emanating from Muramasa's armor.
ウルティマがスプーンカーブを抜けるどうやら頭一つ抜き出た
Ultima's past the spoon curve. He's already a full length between himself and the rest.
続く集団はスーパーハウンドレーシング10アベンジの3強激しいつばぜり合い松井はやや遅れたか
Behind him, Superhound, RG10, and Avenger are jockeying for position. Matsui has fallen behind. She's in 4th already.
おおむね順当な展開ねさあこれからどうなるかしら
No surprises so far. How long will this keep up?
港さん頑張って
Hang in there, sir.
とは言いましてもねえレーサークルスの足にドラコで挑むというのは
Sorry to burst your bubble, dear, but shouts of encouragement are a little help to a dragoon going up against a track of racing cruxes.
無駄でございます。例えるならそう、鳥と魚の競争とでも申しましょうか。
I believe the expression is useless. The classic Dio line, muda. It's a bit like a fish racing against birds.
比べようがねえだろそれ
Wait, how's that supposed to work?
つまりはそういうことでございます。世界が違うのですよ、あやね様。
It doesn't. That's the point. Different worlds, Miss Ayane.
くそじゃあこのままか悔しいな
The officer Minato is stuck in last place. That
まあ
sucks.
まあお忘れなく
I don't think
影
that's a
明
real
様
reason we're here.
の私どもの目的は別にあるんですのよ
True, we're not here to win the race, as irritating as it is.
はい。レース参加はあくまで方便でございます。
Indeed, this race is a means to an end. I wonder what the rest of the police team thinks. We haven't actually spoken to them or even had any dialogue with them. But it's like, can you imagine? You get added to the police team, and then the person who like randomly gets added to your team just to do an investigation is like told they're going to be racing instead of your whole team. Like, how did they feel about this? Do they hate the fact that he's clearly driving a Shinichi and basically throwing the race? Like, I wonder what they feel, you know? Isn't it also, like, super unlikely that he'd even have his own personal racing truck? But whatever. Like, oh, yeah, like, shouldn't that be super illegal? I guess he's a cop, and this place is, like, all the government institutions are so corrupt that there's, like, people giving out Tsurugis, so I guess it's not so bad.
そりゃ分かってるけどさ、なんか見てるとこう
I know
熱
that,
が
but
入るんだよ。
watching this, it's like I want to see him win.
お気持ちはよくわかります。港様ご自身がその熱に流されねばいいのです
I
が。
understand the feeling. Let's just hope he doesn't lose sight of the goal himself.
あの方なら大丈夫でしょう。
Oh, I'm sure we have nothing to worry about.
見てみたい気もちょっとするけど、
I kind of
そ
want
う
to
い
see
う
him get
港さん
really passionate about something.
さようでございます
But
ね
of。course you do.
わかりました。お任せなさい。今から私が愛のエナジーを送ります。
Alright, just leave it to me. I'll energize him with the power of love.
おい、いきなり微妙なこと言い出してんだけど、あんたの主人
I think your mistress has a screw
微
loose.
妙というか完全アウトでございますね。どうか放っておいてやってくださいませ。白く柔らかい壁に囲まれた密室の中で暮らす方々を見るような感じで。
More than just a screw. Let's leave her alone, shall we? How about we treat her like you would a fellow living in one of those nice padded cells? Or
こういう
rooms.
時、窮地にある男に闘志を注ぐのは女の愛情。燃え盛る思いが影焼様をたけり狂わせ、逆転の道を開きます。さあ、届け私の愛。
Wow, alright. Sometimes a man needs a woman's love to pull him back from the edge of defeat. My passion will fill his soul and lead him to victory. Love beam
ポ
fire?
ップコーン食う？
Want some popcorn?
ありがたくいただきます。いや、懐かしゅうございますね。私めの若い頃はこういうものもなかなか珍しく。
Yes, crazy talk, but she's fun. And she's also not a high schooler. Thank you, this takes me back. Events like these were quite rare when I was your age. Remember, our guy's just infiltrating this. He's actually looking for someone who's going to, any minute now, transform into a murder machine that has, like, a passive aura of just driving everyone around it who isn't in power armor insane. So, his winning is not very important to him because it's his life's goal to catch Ginseigo. Or at least stop Ginseigo. So, he'll probably... But, you know, it's hard to not want to compete, right? Just losing kind of sucks. We're on the S-curve at a leisurely pace. So far, I've managed to stay on the course. That's not really anything to be proud of. I lack the training that allows armor racers to balance speed and control in the circuit, so I'm merely sacrificing the former for the latter. I understand how the spectators will be disappointed, but there's nothing I can do about it. They'll just have to be satisfied with the real racers. The top 5 are almost half a lap ahead of us and gaining. Both the Golden Machine and Pilot are in top form. What to do? Should I give up on falling and let them lap me? That would bring them once again within reach, but it solves nothing. They'll pull away again shortly after. As long as the difference in speed is this great, there's no hope of staying close to any of the racers. A different approach then. Should we leave the course and take to the sky? That'd make it easier to observe and respond, but if the referees decide we've forfeited or present an obstacle to the other contestants, they'll likely expel us. It would likely result in considerable fallout off the track as well. I'd rather not put the police team in that position. Is there no perfect solution?
アソシが抜きにかかった。リンを攻める。ダメだ。
So she dives for the inside. He's trying to pass.
横断
Denied.
のスーパーハウンドが一枚上手。がっちりラインを封じられては手も足も出せず、2位3位の変動はありません。
Yokotan's Super Hound is too good. He's got the lane locked down tight. Second and third remain firm.
良い攻防ね。それに引き換え最下位のあれは何なのよ。
A fine exchange.
どうも臭いったな。
Unlike anything the Crux in the rear could manage, I'm sure.
よっぽどのダ作なのね。
We haven't built that piece of junk. Is Muramasa gonna get tilted and it like actually seize control of the armor? That would be kind of funny. Muramasa just sitting there. Muramasa's silence is beginning to bother me.
先頭がコントロールラインを越えた。これで5周、6周目です。
Leaders have passed the control line, and that's the 5th lap. How many laps are there? Is this like NASCAR where they have to do like 1,000,000 laps? And it's like a 14-hour drive or whatever? I mean, 5 doesn't seem that long if they've only just been talking, and it's like 1.5 laps, right? If there were like 1.5 laps and there's like 20 laps or something, that'd be okay. But man, I would not want to do like 3,000 laps. Or how many ever it is.
残り15周。
20, okay.
そろそろ中盤戦に差し掛かります。状況はやや膠着してきたか？
20 lap race, that's not too bad. 15 more to go. This brings us to the mid game, folks. It looks like things are settling down. Okay, so it's 1.5 minutes for the record laps ish. If we go to 2, that's 40 minutes. That's not too bad. Actually, it's 40 minutes. Yeah, 40 minutes isn't super long. Plenty of time for things to settle without taking all day.
そのようね。小京を筆頭に横丹、阿蘇市、田村、松井。上位陣は順当なところで安定しているわ。
Shokyo in the lead, followed by Yokotan, Associate Tamura, and Matsui. Top ranks look pretty stable. Tamura's in third. They passed Matsui. Okay.
一方下位の情勢は未だ混沌。激突ありコースアウトありの激しいデッドヒートを繰り広げています。
The lower ranks are still locked in a dead heat. Crashes, fouls. It's a war zone out there.
しかし最後尾のポリスチームだけは孤立気味だ。やはり予備機での参加は無理があったか。昨日の事故が痛かった。
The police team is still all alone in the rear. It looks like their spare just can't compete. Yesterday's accident may prove fatal at this
それ
rate.
でもポリスは走る。ご来場の皆様、血税ではありません。彼らは皆様の税金を浪費して参戦しているのではありません。月給です。月給から費用を捻出しています。
They're not throwing in the towel yet, though. Don't worry, folks. It's not your tax money being pissed away out there. It all comes out of their own pockets.
安月給の貴重な一部、一食の食費を30円から20円に切り詰めて貯めたお金で彼らはかける。偉いぞ警察、頑張れポリス。失われた給料にかけて飛べホットドッグ。
To keep racing, they spend only 20 yen per meal instead of 30. Wait, that's really cheap. That's the police spirit. Fight, police. Don't let your lost wages go to waste. Hot dog. 20 yen per meal is like $2. I wish I could spend $2 per meal. Lately, even the cheap places are like 10.
いけホットドッグ。負けるなホットドッグ。頑張れファイトだホットドッグ。
The cheapest place I knew actually went from 4 to 8 in the last 3 years. Like doubled in price. It's super expensive. Yeah. That said, this is set in the 40s? I believe this is set in the 40s. So that's actually like a decent price for meal because I think things doubled since like the 90s or some shit. I don't know what the fucking inflation rate's like. But it's more than doubled since it should have more than doubled since the 40s. Come on, hot dog, don't let us down. You can do it, hot dog.
応援してるこっちがアホみて。
I feel like an idiot trying to cheer for them.
ほっときゃいいでしょうが。
I forgot about them. Enough. Agonizing over it will get me nowhere. I should know by now there's never a perfect solution.
村正、コースを外れるぞ。
This isn't working. We're leaving the course.
上空から選手集団を把握し。
We'll observe the racers from above and... Muramasa?
走ればいいんでしょ。
You want me to go faster? That would have been lovely.
おい。
Muramasa?
早く飛べばいいんでしょ。早く飛べば。
You want speed? Alright, fine. That's what you get.
応答しろ村正。状況を認識しているか。
Muramasa, respond. Are you aware of the situation? Clearly not, or perhaps it's more accurate to say she's lost in it. My Tsurugi's attention is fixed far ahead upon the racing cruxes whose dust we're eating.
村正。
Muramasa?
なめるなガキども。ペラペラの紙細工が。
Know your place, impudent children, from flimsy toys of paper and glass?
本物の剣の力、思い知りなさい。
I'll show you what a real Tsurugi's made of. Wait, hold on. First tell me what you're gonna do.
流れ、回る。
I join the flows? Enchant plus Muramasa is directing magnetic energy at herself, the opposite of Enchant minus, which forms a barrier against attack.
冷静さを回復しろ村正。その手は俺も考えた。
I already considered that tactic.
だが届かん。消耗だけで終わる。
It won't work, we'll just be wasting energy. Enchant plus generates multi-layered electromagnetic fields throughout Muramasa's armor, using alternating forces of attraction and repulsion to enhance performance. An increase in speed is one of the benefits. Use of Shinogi requires calories, however, the expenditure of which is proportional to the effect. A massive boost in speed, say enough to match a racing crux, will of course necessitate a massive drain. Obviously the effect won't last long, and that's if we can achieve such acceleration in the first place. It can hardly be called a wise move under these circumstances.
ミド、執行。
You don't give the command.
対話が成立していないように思える。 る。
It's like I'm speaking a foreign language.
私があなたをあそこへ送る。嘘はつかない。ミド、これがあなたの欲していた最善の手よ。
I'll take you to them. You have my word. This is the perfect solution we were looking for. I hardly think so, but I consider my options. Either I argue with my deranged Tsurugi, or I let Muramasa have her way temporarily. Which is the greater waste of time, the more fatal error? It doesn't take long to reach the answer.
リニアアクセル。
Linear Excel. The air becomes hard and heavy, a sensation that comes with rapid acceleration. Our speed tops out at several times what it was before. Of course, that only brings us in line with the slowest of the frontline racing cruxes. Several times what it was before. I don't think he knows what several times is. If you're going 3 times as fast as you were... Okay, if going 3 times as fast as you were, that would bring you from, like, say, let's say you're going slowly, so like a 2-minute lap when the front line's doing like 130, because they haven't been lapped in 5 laps, right? So if they lose 30 seconds per lap, they actually get lapped in 3 laps. So it's actually not that big a difference. It's less than 30 seconds per lap difference. It should be like, because they're like halfway behind you. So if you're moving twice as fast, you should actually be going faster than every single crux on the track. Simple math tells me that's what it should be. If our speed tops out at several times what it was before. Because let's say, if they're going like 110 on average, and you're going like 1 on average, if you triple your speed... Yeah, he's racing with Hot Dog, yeah. If you triple your speed, because you're several times as fast as what you were, that puts you faster than everybody. But I don't think that's what it means. Oh well. They get a speed boost. I don't know, 20%. 20% is probably fair. That would put them at like the fastest of the racing frontline cruxes speed. It would put them at like their current speed, so they wouldn't lose ground. At least we've stopped losing ground. It may be possible to gain a few ranks if someone makes a mistake. And assuming I don't make one first.
これで満足か。
Are you satisfied?
ここからよ。
I'm just getting started. What? I feel a sense of impending doom. Something's entering my Tsurugi's armor. Something unnatural.
天地万物に吸引の力あり。この作業を陰神、力を神気と称す。
Anything censored happened? No, I don't think so. We're waiting for the egg to hatch or something or us to find the egg. But Muramasa is obsessed with the race. That's what's happening. All things in nature are called to one another when mastered. This force is supreme, its power limitless. No, it can't be. It can't be.
何の真似だ。
What are you doing?
神気修練。
Graviton charge! The space around my Tsurugi thrums with energy and not the EM energy Muramasa has always been able to command. This is something entirely different. Different, yet somehow similar.
これは重力操作。
This is gravity control.
の、アリューといったところね。
Close enough.
なぜそのようなことができ
How's
る。
it possible? This is...
これは銀星号の力だろ。
This is Ginseigo's power.
卵を壊して野立ちの断片を回収した時におまけでついてきたのよ。
When we recovered the pieces of my Nodachi. So a little extra came along. It's not much compared to the real thing, though. The eggs are manifestations of Ginseigo's power, and this time, they are merged with fragments of our Nodachi. In other words, with Muramasa's power. Nice. So when the pieces of Nodachi were reabsorbed into Muramasa, they brought some of Ginseigo's power with them?
扱いきれるのか。
Can you control it?
この高度なら多分神気は地表に近いほど御しやすいはず。カカ様のようにはいかないけれど。
At this altitude,
足回りを軽
probably.
くするくらいのことができる。
It's easier to control the fields when you're closer to the Earth, I think. I can't do what Mother can, but I should be able to make us go faster.
もどきどもに一泡吹かせるには十
Fast
分よ
enough to show these knockoffs what for? Now, honestly, it's not actually a bad strategy, what they're kind of implementing here on the fly. It's not a terrible idea if you have, like, say, an energy boost that drains all your fucking fuel in a race, I suppose, to, like, try and catch up late game after people have crashed. I mean, it's really hard to pass, but, like, if you could theoretically be confident of your passing and all your passing windows, you could do it. Now, the issue with not doing time attacks and doing actual races, though, is that even if you suddenly get a massive speed boost, all they have to do is just start blocking you, and then they waste all your power, right? Oh, you booted up the old PS4? Playing some Sekiro? Nice, nice.
Gravity Axel!
Gravity Excel. What? Why are they I mean, what? What? My love worked. Oh, what? He's like, I got popcorn now. She's just eating popcorn here. Nice.
すごいぞホットドッグ。なんだかわけわかんない加速で一気に追い上げた。
Look at Hot Dog go! I don't know what happened, but it's taken off like a bat out of hell.
なんでよ、なんであんな機体であんなスピードがあんな急に出るのよ。ありえないわ。監視に連絡、何かおかしな機械を使ってなかったか確かめて。
Where did the machine get all the speed? Something's wrong here. Call the control tower. Make sure they're not using illegal parts.
Muramasa! 早すぎだ！誰がどう見てもこれは変だ！
We're going too fast. Everyone can tell this isn't
ちょ
normal.
っと力の制御が。でも追いついたんだからいいでしょ。
Having a bit of trouble controlling you, but we did catch up, didn't we?
それはそうだが、ここまで異様に目立ちたくはない。後で困る。
But now we're the center of attention. This will only cause us trouble later.
なら後で困っておいて。
Deal with it then.
俺は来月のアーマーレス雑誌の表紙を謎の超新星現るなどという月並みなコピーと一緒に飾るつもりは毛頭ないのだ。
I don't want to show up on the cover of next month's Armor Racing Digest under the headline reading, Mystery Hero appears in a blaze of light. How will I explain it to the commissioner?
よかったじゃない。子供の頃の夢が叶って。
Not everyone gets to realize their childhood dream, you know. True.
速度を
Slow down! I roar at Muramasa to stop, but I have no way of knowing if my voice reaches through the maelstrom of power that seems to have consumed her. I can no longer feel the wind around us. We've entered a world where air resistance is meaningless. It's wonderful. It's glorious. It's an utter disaster. Not even armor racers can set foot in this domain. I didn't come here to set a new world record. I reach out with my mind to the power coursing through my armor. If Muramasa can't control it, I'll just have to help her. I seize the raging currents of energy and bend them to my will. My brain erupts in white-hot agony, and for a moment, it feels like my mind's been ripped in two. Just a little more.
ホットドッグ加速が止まった。結局何だったのかさっぱりわからんけど、とにかく限界に達した模様。
How much power did that cost? Oh, Hot Dog stopped accelerating. Whatever happened, folks, it's over.
安定した気候に戻るようです。
Looks like it's leveling out.
それでもまださっきまでの気候に比べると随分早いね。
But still, it's
これが本当の
much faster than before. Was it holding back all this time? I bring the gravitic acceleration down to a manageable level and restore stability. Thank the gods that's
こ
over.
のペースを維持するぞ、村正。もう加速はなしだ。
Maintain this pace, no more acceleration. How many laps was that? Did we just do that for like half a lap? I'm curious how much energy that is. The energy bar has not updated, so we don't really know how much energy got drained from that, or if any, and we don't know how much they caught up, or like, I guess they'll probably tell us in a second, right? We don't know how much energy we spent to catch up to them, and we don't know how fast we were. Like, wouldn't it be funny? Because usually they track lap times, right? So usually at races they'll track lap times. It would be really funny if we set like a world record for the lap, but we only did it to catch up to people. That would be really funny.
え、
Right, right.
いやーすごかったね。そういやおめえ、あれに凡庸だのダサくだの散々言ってなかったっけ？
That was something. Who called that Croc's a piece of junk?
わかったわよ。取り消すわよ。
I
認
take
め
it
るわ
back. I was
よ。
wrong. I don't think they'd apologize on stage as part of their gimmick, but you
あ
know.
の機体は波ではないわね。どうにもよくわからないところがあるけど。
That machine's anything but average. I still don't understand what happened.
あの加速は超常的で美しくもあったわ。あれを見せただけでもこの決勝戦に参加する資格はあったと言えるで
That
しょう。
first, just now, was intense, otherworldly, and yes, beautiful. I suppose they've earned their place in my race. I'm just sitting here thinking, if they sometimes stop for maintenance, does Muramasa need to stop for maintenance to refuel, aka eat food? really quickly. I don't think there would be time for that because it's the race is so short. You'd only stop if it was a disaster, right? 40 minutes is definitely something you can design a Tsurugi to fly for. But the real issue is that even if you could make... So these guys have like multiple Shinushi that can make them go faster. Even if they could pace themselves so that they could actually go fast the whole race, I think it's still an issue because they have to have a ton of energy for the actual fight that might come up, right? That's what they're thinking. Like, even if we could spend 95% of our energy before armor lock, you know, at 0. We can't actually do that because we need to keep like at least 3/4 or whatever for the real fight. I assume that's what he's thinking. Which is why he's not like going through fast. That said, it is interesting to see that he can actually move like ludicrously fast enough to like keep up with the racers. That's cool. If he tries. Mind you, it's probably way worse for him than it is for the racers, but you know. As far as we know, Muramasa doesn't Muramasa's probably helping him pilot in some way, shape, or form. Which probably makes it less likely to crash. And also, I'd say Muramasa probably doesn't have as many failure conditions. Like, isn't as likely to fail. As you'd probably want dumb and simple. Dumb and simple for your military power armor. Whereas race cars, yeah, they fail all the time. Race cars having a part break or something not go wrong is pretty common. And presumably by the Grand Prix you've worked out all the kinks, but like anything that's like super high performance is probably going to fail at some point. Alright. Then again, I guess... No, he has old armor. It's not new prototype armor. Nope. It's probably proven. Alright. They've earned their place in your race.
主催者様のお言葉でした。よかったね、ポリスの人。
There you have it from the general himself. Way to go, police team. Muramasa just giggling. How old are you?
小京ウルティマライン通過。12周目に入りました。
Okay, Shokya's ultimate crosses the line. We're now in the 12th lap. I do not know if Muramasa did that from the 5th to the 12th lap to get that respect, or we just time skipped and they did that for like the 6th lap or something. No big deal. I don't think the actual progress of the race or who's in first matters too much.
上位陣は相変わらず不動。10周前後で各チームともアフターバーナー交換のためにピットインしましたが、ピットクルーの奮闘に優劣なし。結局順位はほぼ変わらず。
Top ranks haven't budged an inch. All teams were pitted to change afterburners around the 10th lap, but the pit crews were on top of things. No movement on the leaderboard. Okay, so keep that in mind. We did have to change afterburners reliability, probably due to the parts we added. Need to be changed out rather than
見てる側としてはそろそろ動きが欲しい。だが難しいか？
Because remember, Muramasa is self-repairing, right? I don't know if Kazuchi self-repair, but I would think Muramasa, if it's correctly integrated, would Muramasa not just auto-repair and not care, or is that just a feature of both kinds of Tsurugi? I'm not quite clear on whether or not the regular sets of power armor can self-repair like Muramasa can. It would be interesting, but I mean they've already said that it's supposed to be pure downsides for driving a Shinichi, or piloting a Shinichi in a race, so I assume that it wouldn't make enough of a difference. Like the self-repair function might just like only slow degradation, but not enough to matter. That said, if it's slow degradation even by like a couple laps, it might matter. If you're hotly contesting some positions, it might be really handy. Yeah, the team stop for like, you know, whatever, 20 seconds to change out afterburners, and you keep going for another 2 laps, and then stop. You're theoretically ahead of them. They're gonna catch up. They're gonna catch up to you, like, but like that's 20 seconds with a ton of people who aren't in front of you. And if you were like contesting positions, you can probably grab them. And then as they get back on, they're back to contesting stuff, or hoping that they get off before other people. Might be useful. I don't know how much it's worth, really. I don't watch enough racing to know that one. You think the fans would like to see some action out there, but is it too much to ask?
そうね 今レースは完全にあのウルティマに支配されていると
Maybe
言っていい
so.
の
The
か
Golden Winged Ultima is dominating the race.
彼がペースを作っている。他の騎手はそのペースに沿って走っているだ
Pace
け
is his descent. The rest are just following behind. I mean, not a bad idea to just conserve energy and attempt to overtake him in the last couple laps instead of trying to stay ahead. If it's hard to maintain the lead.
なすすべもなくね。どうにかしたいとは思っているんでしょうけれど。
Not that they have much say in the matter. I imagine they
ウ
would
ルテ
like
ィ
to
マの
make a
力
move.
は頭一つ抜きん出ているわ。
But Ultima is just too powerful.
このまま小京の勝利で幕を閉じてしまうのか。
Will Shokyo cruise all the way to victory? 12th lap, 8 to go. We made our pit stop in the 10th at the halfway mark, though. Not for the same reason as other Cruxes. The afterburner is affixed to Muramasa's back. It's merely a decoration. However, this sort of flight consumes far less calories than does Musha combat. Muramasa and I could easily do 20 laps without taking a break. The same is not true of racing Cruxes, however, and failing to pit would have declared our nature to anyone who knows the first thing about Tsurugi. You know how I was saying the self-repair effect would have probably made the difference? And that they're probably more durable because they don't need to have parts changed out? Yep, there we go. But they had to pit to look better. Okay. So they're staying in disguise, and their disguise is actively sabotaging their race. Interesting. I'm kind of surprised that's the thing. I mean, I know they're kind of in last. I don't know what the time cost of changing afterburners is, though. Like, I'm curious, right? They may not tell us because it's not important to the story, but I'm curious what the time cost of changing afterburners is. Presumably, it's not worth it. But would it add up if it was 40 laps? How about 80 laps? Like, if you were doing a 200 lap race, how much time would be lost changing afterburners every 10 laps? Would that matter? The game's not gonna tell us because it's not super important, but it's kind of curious. I'm like, would Muramasa actually be better at a marathon race? If they can just like not fall behind, they might actually be okay. Now the second half of the race is well underway, and we're positioned at the bottom edge of the middle of the pack. So presumably these are national racers, and he is, let's say, he's bottom edge of the middle of the pack with at least one person out of the race. So let's say he's like, what, 15? He's like 12, 15? Honestly, not that bad. Honestly, not that bad, considering he said, like, yeah, you're basically screwed if you're piloting one of these. If you were to, clearly, we know what the meta is, but if you're, like, 15th if you end up 15th nationally, after having, like, never actually raced professionally before, that's pretty respectable. Like, without having done any competitive racing recently, like, that's pretty respectable. Considering they showed up and weren't expecting to race, and it's just like, oh, hey, get racing. And it's like, oh, yeah, I got 15th, by the way. Like, what? That's pretty good. If I showed up to a national championship in anything that I hadn't done before and got 15th, you'd be like, respect, right? Like, imagine if you showed up to like a chess doesn't require any hardware, but let's just say it's like a chess championship or something. If you got 15th in like 15th out of 20 in a chess championship and actually got like any draws or wins when you'd like never played chess, that'd be insane. Or hadn't played chess since like high school. That'd be pretty crazy. Although I guess for like tournaments like that are typically it could be round robin, right? Yeah, it could be like a round robin tournament, not an elimination tournament. It'd have to be something you could reasonably get like a 15th without just being like, oh yeah, you and 10 other people got eliminated first round, right? Yeah, it's not an elimination tournament, it'd be a round robin tournament. Anyway, respectable. If I were out for gold, this would be where I start pushing toward the front, but for my purposes, this position is ideal as I see no need to take more risks, especially not like we did earlier. I assess the racers, and they all appear to be focused intently on their nearby rivals. And again, he is 15th. He is 15th in a national race in a machine that is supposed to be objectively worse. But he's also not trying to win. He's not trying to win, and he's 15th. Like, he says right here, everyone else is trying to race, and he's just, like, checking out the competition, making sure they're not turning into a monster, and is, like, actively trying to stay with the biggest group of people so he can stab them if he needs to. Like, he's actively avoiding pushing. Wouldn't this tell you that an actual Tsurugi should be, like, a competent racing machine? Like, he is wearing, like, this is like a race car analogy, this whole arc, right? He is wearing dead weight. He is wearing dead weight. The afterburners he is wearing do not actually provide thrust. He even said, like, Muramasa is uncomfortable because of the dead weight, and he just said that they aren't using the afterburners, that they changed out because Muramasa has her own thrust. So he's literally, like, just imagine, he has jet engines strapped to his mech that don't actually generate thrust. He's literally, like, a couple extra 100 kilos down and wearing armor. Like, I don't understand how this thing is bad. If he was like, there's no way I can get higher than 20th, I'd believe it. I would have believed it. But it seems like he's actually doing incredibly well with a huge self-imposed penalty. Like, he's literally wearing training weights in the tournament. Okay? He's like, what's his face? I don't watch Naruto. That kid. That one kid. What's his name? Like, it's not, is it Lee? Whatever his name is. Who just, like, when he drops his weights off. See, even I know that and I don't watch Naruto, right? When he's, like, fighting our protagonist and like, takes the training weights off to fight for real. Imagine, he's like, this guy's at the Nationals and he's like, I'm wearing training weights, bitch. I got better shit to do. I got training weights. I took a break. Like, I feel like this character's just flexing at this point. Like, he could easily be... Yeah, Lee, there we go. Like, he's easily... If he's this close to the racers, he should easily be in 10th. Because they all stop. And let's just assume it's like an ultra-fast pit stop, like tire changes that are like 5-10 seconds plus deceleration, acceleration, right? I don't actually know what the record for pit changes, or for tire changes, or pit stop, but it's pretty fucking short these days. But, like, it does cost acceleration, deceleration, and getting back onto the road. So, let's just assume it's like 10 seconds. 10 seconds, if he's holding middle of the pack and can see people directly in front of him and behind him, that's gonna put you, like, 3 paces ahead. The record is 3 seconds, around 3 seconds, okay? 3 seconds, plus deceleration and acceleration for a car. It's probably going to be like a 5-6 second delay, right? At least? At least. 6 seconds. 6 seconds is a lot of time to get ahead of someone who's directly in front of you. Because they're also moving out of the way. Like, that should be really easy to get maybe 2 or 3 places further ahead. If your, like, positions are locked because everyone's keeping people from moving around, right? That's like an easy 6 seconds. That's like an easy 2 or 3 places here. He could be 12th. Pretty good. He could be 12th. I'm not being ambitious. 12th place. He could push. Maybe 10th. Seems he's doing alright. And that's before we include the fact that he could just, like, remove, I don't know, a couple 100 kilos of weight from these extra parts. And just fly regular Muramasa. Could be 11th. 10th. That's pretty good. There's still no way to narrow it down. You're right. Are they going to come to the conclusion it could be someone who's off the track? Muramasa's tone is reluctant and she still refuses to accept the likelihood the egg has been rendered imperceptible to her gaze. I suppose it's a matter of pride. These 2 years have already taught me how stubborn Muramasa can be about such things. Even if they hadn't, today's race would have done the job on its own. I turn my gaze to the head of the pack. Nothing's changed there since last time I checked. Ultima's in the lead, followed by Superhound, RG-10, and the Avenger. How much longer will she stay silent? Have you warmed up yet, Misao? Yeah, I'm ready whenever.
立体交差を超えるウルティマミスを犯しません
Ultimate shoots through the underpass. He hasn't made a single mistake yet.
危なげないわね。むしろ続く連中の方が怪しくなってきたわ。
I doubt that will change anytime soon. The racers behind him, on the other hand, are looking a little shaky. We're in 12th lap.
うわ、本当だ。スーパーハウンドとレーシング10が今接触しかけた。
You're right. Superhound and RG10 just came within millimeters of colliding.
アソシが抜きにかかって横タンが防いだようだが、今のはどちらもタイミングを外していた。危険です。
It looks like Asoshi tried to pass and Yokotan went to cut them off, but both missed their timing. That was close.
無様ね。ウルティマに支配されるレースに耐えきれなくなってきたんでしょう。
How unseemly. They must be desperate to overturn Ultima's lead.
レーサーなんて人種はプライドの塊。完全に頭を抑えられたこの
Racers are all slaves to pride.
屈辱的でたまらないはずよ。
I imagine it's quite humiliating to be so thoroughly dominated.
なるほど。誰しも他人のことはよくわかるようです。
Well said. We have a fine example of the art of projection here, folks.
どういう意味か。
What's that supposed to be? Nothing. Nothing at all.
さあ、バックストレート。ここで体勢を立て直したいところ。
Entering the back straight, will they be able to recover their...
アベンジが速度を落としています。
Avenger is slowing down?
本当。危なっかしい2機から離れる。
Is it trying to give the other two space?
間違った判断ではないけれど、消極的ね。
Understandable, but playing it a little safe, wouldn't you say?
いや、こいつは多分
No, this is probably...
翼をください。私は空をかけたいのです。
Grant me wings that I may touch the sky.
翼をください。私は風と戯れたいのです。
Grant me wings that I may chase the wind.
翼をください。私は鳥になりたいのです。
Grant me wings that I may dance with the birds.
翼をください。私は空も風も鳥も裏切りたいのです。
Grant me wings such that sky, wind, and bird will look on me with envy.
私の翼はすべてを裏切る。すべてを捨て去り忘れ去り。
My wings will render all else meaningless. There'll be dust in my wake, a distant fading memory.
なぜならこれは恋ではないから。
This is not love.
なぜならこれは逆襲なのだから。
This is revenge.
空は私を厭い。
What an essay, holy
風は
crap.
私を憎み。鳥は私を妬め。
Let the
同
sky
国を
loathe
かき
名.
鳴らして。
The wind
この名
revile
を
me.
歌え。
The birds tremble in fear and let them shed tears of grief as they cry my name.
アベンジ・ザ・ブルー。
Avenger in the blue. Time to go fast. Clearly, yes, the chant for a super skill. And what an essay it is. Like, alright, alright.
え、何？
始まったか。
It's begun. Here we go! Here we go, going fast.
この加速は
Incredible.
田村アベンジ本性を見せた。スコーチスコーチスコーチ。
At last, Mura's Avenger shows its true power. Scorch, scorch, scorch.
やはり昨日のあれはまぐれではなかった。サーキット上の熱が見せた幻でもなかった。この爆走はリアルな現実だ。
Yesterday's performance wasn't a fluke. It's happening right again before our eyes.
すごい。さっきポリスチームが見せた魔術のような理解しがたい暴走とは全く違う。
It's not like the police team's unnatural spurt from before.
完成された機構による統制された爆走よ。美しい美しいわ。
The machine was built to control such speed. Beautiful, simply beautiful.
レーシング10アソシエイブル社の誇る傑作機。防ぐとかどうとか以前に反応できませんでした。
Our Avenger passes RG10. Even Asoshi's masterpiece had no chance to react.
横タンスーパーハウンドも後
Now it's
陣を
Super Hound's turn to
排
be
除。いつの間にか後ろ姿を見せつけられている。騎手の愕然とした顔が見えるようです。
Did it pass him? You can see the surprise from the pilot's face from here.
田村アベンジ大地味そう一躍二へ急浮上。
And in a flash, Tamura's Avenger and Oji Misao have taken second place. Damn.
すげえ。まるで青い光。
Nothing but blue.
差し詰めブルーライトニングといったところでございますね。
Like a bolt of
い
blue
や
lightning,
は
you
や
could say.
これはなんとも。
Truly something.
これでレースが荒れてくる。状況はどう転ぶかわからなくなってきた。俺たちにとっても
It became Sonic. Yeah, that's right. It's Sonic. He's like it's the 40s. They haven't invented Sonic yet. And so I gotta do it myself. We're gonna make a suit of power armor that's gonna represent the fastest hedgehog alive. Oh yeah.
どうした？
It's wrong. For a moment, Muramasa seems entranced by Avenger's speed. I don't blame her, but didn't she already see it once before? Perhaps not. Muramasa wasn't interested in the preliminary. She's probably focused on scanning for the egg and ignored what was happening on the track.
少し思ったのよ。
It's nothing important. The thought just came to
少し
me.
だけだけど理解はできないししたいとも思わないけれど今の鍛冶師にも彼らなりの魂はあるのね。
Now, I don't claim to understand it, nor would I want to, but I suppose even this age's smiths have their way.
ちょっとそう思ったの。
Like I said, the thought just came to me. That's all.
これは
It's not like I'd like you or
凄ま
anything.
じい勝負になってきた
It's the battle of the century out there, folks.
直線では田村アベンジ爆発的な速力で周囲を強奪する
Avenger leads in the straights, chewing up the distance with its explosive speed.
しかしコーナーでは小強ウルティマ大きくリアを振りながら回るアベンジの懐をたやすく破って引き離す
But Ultima owns the corners, easily slipping past the oversteering Avenger.
それでもアベンジ完全に振り切られはしない粘るそしてストレートで逆転する
Even then, Avenger won't be left behind. It sticks close and retakes the lead in the next straight.
両者一歩も譲らずまさに頂上決戦だ
Neither racer gives an inch of quarter. We're witnessing a clash of titans.
素晴らしい。
Magnificent.
ただいまの周回のタイムが出ました
And their times are...
これはすごい
Look at this, everyone. Its initial default.
小強ウルティマ1分25秒87田村アベンジ1分25秒88どちらも大和人騎士のコースレコード
See, they do track individual lap times. Ultima 125.87, Avenger 125.88. They both set new Yamato and course records.
100分の1秒の争いどちらに軍配が上がるのかまるで見えません
There's barely a hundredth of a second between them. It's anyone's guess who the victor will be.
力のアベンチ技のウルティマいいわどちらも最高よ
Avenger's power versus Ultima's technique. This is what I wanted to see.
新しい野生の美と聖地を極める技巧の美どちらがより美しいのか答えを教えてちょうだい
Feral beauty of a ravenous beast or the calculated beauty of a polished machine. Show me which is greater.
さあどちらだ主催者の求める答えは果たして両者のいずれが与えるのかもっとも私は別の答えが出されてしまうような気がしなくもありません
Which of the two will sate the general's thirst? But if you ask me, I get the feeling it might not be that simple. What?
こうなってしまったか
Avenger is at
失
Ultima's
敗し
thirst.
たばかりに
Those fools just had to fail.
かくなる上は
Only one option left.
私だ
It's me.
なあ手はず通りやらせろ嫌がっている
Tell them to follow the plan. They don't
そ
want
ん
it.
なことは承知の上だ中
Of
将
course not.
閣下のお言葉ではない
They're ruled
が
by
奴らは
pride,
自尊心の
as the
塊だ
general
から
said.
だが言ってやれそのプライドを買ってやるとなどうせ勝ち目はない今日の勝負での意地を
I tell them this.
明日の勝負での勝ちを買えと
I'll buy their damn pride. They have no hope of winning anyway. They can sell the present for a shot at the future.
資金援助に技術提供奴らが喉から手が出るほど欲しがっているものを約束してやれそうすれば動くだろう
Promise them money. Attack everything they've ever wanted. That'll get them to fold.
案ずるな後でどうにでもごまかせるとにかく我々には今日の勝利が必要なのだ
Don't worry. We can renege on it later.
そのためには差術の一つや二つ
All that matters right now is to
こ
win
な
this
さ
race.
ねばなるまい
Do whatever it takes. Something changed. Some of the racers who were battling for lower ranks have vanished, leaving the area around me suddenly empty.
おっと後方で異変ですいくつかの機体がタイミングを同じくして減速
Hold on, something's happening at the rear. A few of the racers started decelerating.
後退していきます
They're falling back.
接触でもしたのまあどうでもいいわ終盤が近いのにあの調子じゃどうせ勝ち目はないでしょう
Do they have a
邪
collision?
魔にならないようにどいてなさい
Well, whatever. If they're that far back this late in the race, they're as good as lost. They better stay out of the way.
邪魔にならなきゃいいけどね。
Wouldn't that be grand?
さっきから何よあんたは。
Is there something you're not telling me? Of course, Liger is hinting at the possibility we discussed before, so they're making their move.
ちょっと
Wait, what's going on?
おーっと、これはアクシデント。中盤の争いから脱落した騎士らが周回遅れになってトップ2機に近接。
Hello. How's it going, my dude? We got an accident. The racers who fell back and butted up against the top two.
アベンジ、進路を塞がれた格好になった。
Avengers boxed in.
青旗は出ないよ。どうせ機体にトラブルを起こして落ちてきた連中でしょ。さっさと脇へどかせなさい
The
よ。
blue flag. They're having machine trouble, aren't they? Get them off the track already. I mean, in racing, I know racing has a billion dumbass rules, but I believe the typical thing is just to give massive penalties or give bonus time to the racer who's getting actively blocked by cars, right? Basically, like if you're vying for second and someone intentionally brakes and they to slow down and actively boxes you in with 5 other vehicles so you can't get second, yeah, you'd be getting massive bonuses. You're getting massive bonuses based on your like best time, based on like the time you were doing for like the last lap when you weren't getting boxed in. Basically, like, doing this would be the most pointless thing, because if you actively stop someone from even racing just to give someone else the win, you'd probably also all get disqualified for that. Not that they'd care, because they just actively keep racing until they're arrested, but you know. Considering they're actively screening 2 from number 1 would be so fucking guilty, holy shit. Like, yes, everyone else in the race blocked 1 person so that I could get first place. It's a coincidence, I swear. But, you know, who knows. I assume that since this is the first Grand Prix, they don't have any rules like that, so you can do that all you like, because they were talking about it being a likely occurrence. Also, amusingly enough, I mean, this does mean you could just accidentally backhand Ultima to get him out of the race. Just be like, oh, he's dead. My bad. Because Muramasa is way more durable, so he can survive a collision, whereas these just shatter, right? You can be like, oops, my bad, I guess I'm not winning the race. Because there's no rules for this, but whatever.
いやいや、ところがお歴々、周回遅れになった途端に調子が回復したようです。決勝参戦機にふさわしい走りを取り戻している。
Looks like they recovered
頑張れ。
just as Ultima and Avenger reach them, they're back to normal speed. Yeah, you can do it.
なんでそっぽ向いて耳ほじりながら言うのよ。
Why do you sound so unenthusiastic?
別に。
You're imagining things.
くそ、こう
Damn,
いう
that's
手で
okay.
きたか。
What do we do?
どうする？いざとなれば。
If worse comes to worse?
いざ
There's
と
no
な
other
れば。
choice.
いや、だが
Oh, there's too many
数
of
が
them.
多すぎる。
What do we do?
どうすればいい？
ウルティマ、再び単独トップに立った。アベンジは追えない。周回遅れ集団に捕まってしまっている。
Once again, Ultima's alone at the head of the pack. The Avenger can't follow. The bottom rankers are blocking the
大
track.
地味さを振り切ろうと悪戦苦闘しているが、ダメだ。完
Oh,
全に囲
Jimmy's
ま
out
れ
tries to
た
get
格
past.
好。
But there's too many of them.
この状況をどう思われますか、サボテンさん。
What are your thoughts on this development, my cactus-like friend?
誰がサボテンよ。これもレース。そうとしか言いようがないわ。
Who's a cactus? This is part of the sport. I have nothing else to say.
意外にクールな回答。
Oh? I expected something less grounded in reality from you.
ただ速いだけでは勝てない。そういうものでしょ、アーマーレースは。優秀な機体、騎士の技術、熟練のスタッフ。
There's more to this sport than just speed, isn't there? A powerful machine, a skilled pilot, experienced staff, generous sponsors. Even all that alone isn't enough.
他者を自分のために利用する能力。これは絶対に必要な力よ。
You also need the
競
ability
技
to
が
use
1
others
対
to your
1で
advantage.
行われるものではない以上はね。
It's true of any competition with more than 2 contestants.
田村にそれがないのなら仕方ないわ。破れなさい。それだけのこ
To
と。
more relax the ability, so be it. They'll just have to lose.
なるほど。ごもっともであります。
You're not wrong.
確かに田村にその力はないだろうね。けどもしかしたら別の力があるかもしれない。
One thing Tamura doesn't have, but maybe they got something to make up for it.
何
Like?
幸運どっかの他者がたまたま田村のために動いてくれ
For
るとか
example, what if someone just happens to come to their aid? The voice from the announcer's box is audible through the roar of the engines, and of course, I'm likely the only one on the course listening.
背中を押されているようだ。
I believe that was directed at us.
やるの？
Are we doing it?
やらざるを得ない。
He's still at full
この
mana,
形
by the
勢は
way,
俺に
or
とって
full
の
calories.
不都合極まる。
At this point, we must. The current situation is not conducive to the completion of our mission. At present, there's no other cruxes nearby, and this put us up several ranks, but it means nothing to me.
より多くの機体に近接し、危機に備えるのが俺の責務。それはたまたまアベンジの利害と一致する。
I have a duty to stay close to as many
確かに
cruxes
彼
as
女は
possible.
幸運なのかもしれ
My
ない。
needs just happen to mesh with Avengers. Perhaps luck really is on our side.
素直じゃないのね。助けたいんでしょ？
Oh, stop pretending. You want to help her, don't you? So, are we... I assume we're just slowing down. We're not going to just block Goldie. And then she'll have to win by herself. You want to help her, don't you?
俺を決勝に参加させたライガー女子の期待には応えておかぬ。筋が立たぬ。
I owe Liger a debt. Living up to her expectations seems the best way to repay it.
本当にそれだけならいいけれど。ミド、
Hope that's all it is, Mito.
私たちが誰かに好意を示すということは、
If we show favor to someone...
説明無用。
Don't bother
承知してい
explaining.
る
I'm well aware.
ええ。けど、
I know, but of course,
それでも
no man can
人の
control
心
his
は
own
まま
heart.
ならないものだから。
I ignore Muramasa's resigned sigh and concentrate on controlling my wings. Rapid deceleration isn't dangerous as long as you remain calm. It just tends to be used in situations where calm is a rare commodity.
やるみたいね。
Oh, it looks like he's gonna do it.
はい見ものでございます
This should be entertaining to watch.
けど数の差がありすぎないか
Isn't he way outnumbered?
問題ではありませんよ綾音様アーマーレースにおいて真打ちは数打ちの敵たりえず
It won't matter, man. Shinushi may be no match for Kazushi in a
それを
race.
まっとうに足を競
But
い合
that's
うな
only
ら
when
の
the race
話
is
で
a contest of speed.
アベンジを囲んで固まっているあの方々はボーリングのピンも同然ですの。すぐにわかり
Races
ます。
surrounding Avenger might as well be bowling pins. You'll see in a moment. I should settle down at a lower speed. They don't keep me waiting for long.
後方から青いのが恋人の群れを引き連れて接近。
The blue one and its admirers are approaching from the rear. What's the plan? Note that they let the gold one pass, no problem. Weird choice, but alright. You could have actually stopped him. Or slowed him down a bunch.
加速準
Prepare to accelerate. We'll
備。
match
集団に
speeds.
並走しつつ、
And look for a
気を
chance to
抜いて
cut in.
割り込む。
どこ？
Where do you want it?
戦闘はいいだろう。村正、力加減を誤るな。投げ
At
る
the head of the
程度
pack
十
should
分
do. But be very careful, Muramasa. It's enough to just brush them.
それは比喩よね。
You mean that figuratively, right?
違う。優しく、
No.
優しくなで。
Gently. A feather's touch. As if you were teasing the babe.
了解。
Okay?
おおこれはどうしたことだ大きく後退したポリスチームがアベンジを囲む周回遅れ集団に接触ゼッケン15番を吹っ飛ばした
What's this? The police has collided with the racers near Avenger. Second 15 goes
ゼ
flying.
ッケン15後退追い集団から離れます慌てて追うも速度が伸びない今の痛烈な当たりでどこかやられたか
He's falling behind. Second 15's trying to catch up, but he's having trouble gaining speed. Did that crash just break something?
よし、まずまずだ。打撃は与え、破壊はせず。
Maintain this level of force. Enough to do damage without destroying them.
何？
え？
今のが打撃になったの？
I did damage just now? You're kidding.
肩で軽くつついただけじゃない。
I barely tapped him.
お前が言ったことだろう。あいつらは紙細工だと。
You said to yourself, flimsy toys of paper and glass.
そんな鋼鉄で
You mean they're flying at this speed?
こんな速度をかけているの？
That little armor?
そうだ。ゆえに、レーサーの引退理由の
They are, which is why 10% of all racers are killed in crashes.
2割は再起不能の負傷。レーサー10人のうち3人までが競技場で人生を失うのだ。
And another 20% suffer career-ending injuries. Hence, 3 out of every 10 racers meet their end on the track.
狂ってる。
They're mad. I mean, Muramasa, you're competing at a national level in a frame that's like actively throwing the race. Yeah, you're a little bit strong here. I disagree with his opinion on how fast his machine is.
Oh.
They're mad.
狂ってしまったのだ。
They've been driven mad by the
世
dream
界
of
の
standing
先
alone
端
at
に
the
一
top.
人でいるという夢に彼ら
Mad, all of them.
アベンジに進路を開けるぞ、村正。我々はレースの勝敗を放棄している。にもかかわらず、
Make room for
他
Avenger
の
to
機体
pass.
の進路を妨
Victory
げ
in
る
this
なら
race is not our objective.
そ
We
れは
must
競
now
技へ
become
の
an
妨
obstacle
害
for
で
the
ある
real
と言わざる
racers.
を得ない。
I don't know why they didn't just smack the Shokyo thing. Like, gently tap the Shokyo guy as he's flying by and be like, oops, my bad. I mean, it would look pretty bad, but these guys are guys who presumably aren't winning. But I mean, it'd just be funny if he just like wildly Korean died and you're like, whoops, that happens.
アベンジの脱
Once
出
Avengers
は
clear,
周囲の機体が追おうとするかもしれない
prevent
が
these units from following.
それは阻止する。なぜなら彼らも勝敗を捨てているからだ。
They, like us, have abandoned this
方
race,
針を達する。
and they'll behave and should behave accordingly. Is the plan understood?
了解。
Understood. Like
子
teasing a
供を
babe,
から
right?
かう力加減でね。
Right. Right, Muramasa.
な
What?
何
囲みを破ったポリスチームの乱入でできた隙に田村アベンジが食いついた突破ポイジンからの脱出に成功しました
It's free. Tomorrow's Avenger breaks loose. With the opening made by the police team, nothing can stop it now.
あまりといえばあまりな展開あまりな幸運大会主催者今川中将が思わずパープリになってしまうのも無理はありません
No one could have seen this coming. What a stroke of luck. It's no surprise our host, the great General Imagawa, has suddenly turned into quivering jello.
写真に撮って後ほど公開しようと思います
I'm gonna take a picture and post it in tomorrow's paper.
取るなっていうか幸運じゃないでしょあれあんたが押し込んだやつじゃない
Stop that. This isn't luck. It's the racer you sponsored.
さあアベンジが追うウルティマを追う
Avenger gives chase. Ultimate's back in sight. I mean, he seems salty, but it's like, clearly you were paying the other guys to cheat, so I mean, you didn't even tap the gold guy. Should have just given him a kick in the dome and been like, I take the DQ. I take the DQ. Guy crashes, but I guess they're trying not to kill them, right? Presumably they haven't identified the person they want to kill yet, so kicking the guy as he goes by for cheating and possibly killing him or causing paralysis, like breaking his spine or some shit, mangling the guy so he can never work again, seems a bit like overkill, but man. Alright. It seems like he should at least get dinged enough to not fly at full speed or with full maneuverability. Too bad. They're just focusing on helping Avenger. Alright. So Avenger gives chase, Ultimate's back in sight.
勝負は再びこの両者の一騎打ちとな
Is
る
there
か
a duel about to resume?
聞きなさいよ
Listen to me.
まあいいけどね
Well, I'll let it
この
go.
方がマロの好みでもあるし
It's more interesting this way.
よし。このまま彼らとざれ続ける。
Let's continue toying with this group. Good, good.
俺の目的にも、競技の公正な進行にも、それが最善だ。
It will serve our interests as well as the interests of a fair race.
ではあるけれどそうもいかない様
Looks
子
like
ね
it won't be easy.
何
What? Distance is opening between us and the nearby Cruxes. They're decelerating?
もう一度やる気か。
Trying to fall behind again?
周回遅れになって妨害ね
So it seems. What do we do?
させぬ。
Stop them?
ポリスのホットドッグ逃がしません徹底的にこの回集団と遊ぶことに決めた模様
Hot Dog stays on top of them. It looks like he's decided to keep them busy for the rest of the race.
重装甲頼みの体当たりを武器に威嚇します部活に前へ出ようとすると餌食回集団彼から離れられませんさすがホットボルトベース乱闘に強い
That heavy armor makes it a force to be reckoned with. Anyone who tries to get away receives a crushing body blow. Leave it to a hot bolt spin-off to dominate the melee.
ちょっと強すぎるような気もするけれどいくらホットボルトの鋼鉄が熱いったって所詮はレーサークルスでしょ
A little too strong if you ask me. Hot bolt may have thick armor, but that's only when compared to other racing Cruxes, isn't it?
あんな扱いに耐えるものなのかしら
Can it really stand up to that much punishment?
まあそれはそれとしてトップ争いで視線を戻しましょう
Don't
ア
worry
ベン
about
ジがウ
that.
ルティマを再び射程に捉えようとしています
Let's turn our attention back at the top. Avengers come once more within striking distance of Ultima.
16周目のバックストレートアベンジウルティマに並ぶか
They enter the back straight. Will Avenger pull even? No.
届かない。アベンジストレートでウルティマを追い切れず、
Avenger fails to catch Ultima in the straight.
コーナーで引き離されていきます。
Ultima pulls the head in the next corner.
伸びが足りないわ。どこかを痛めたようね。
It's slower than before. Did it take damage?
いかん、フロントササーもやられている。
The front suspension arm is bent. Oh
さ
no!
っきの乱戦の時ですか？
Must have happened when they blocked it earlier.
どうします？ピットインさせて交換を。
We have her pit in for a replacement.
そんな暇はない。あと残り3周なんだぞ。
Time. There's only 3 more laps.
じゃあ、おーちゃん、
Oh gee.
通信機をくれ。
Pass me the headset. Will it be Tamura? Is Tamura secret Ginseigo? I mean, it does have a Shinichi, right? Which makes it very suspicious. Either that or they managed to get superpowers into a handcraft, or into a automated Tsurugi, right? Or a manufactured Tsurugi?
Eh?
Yeah. The censored scene must have happened already? Yes, it did. That was before the race.
早く。
Hurry.
ウルティマ18周目、アベンジもコントロールライン通過。
It happened before there was presumably a censored scene that happened before the race. Before the race, where there was just some dialogue that they kept to give you a suggestion of what the scene was supposed to be. Ultima enters the 18th lap. Now Avenger crosses the line,
しかしウルティマとの差は歴然。
but it can't close the distance.
自分の戦場である直線で勝ちきれないのだから当然よ。あなたの言った幸運。
I have a rough guess how they're getting their money. Of course not. There's no chance if it can't win on this race like before. It looks like Tamura needed a little more luck than you had to offer.
だよな。まあ仕方
I
ない
guess
か。
so.
勝負ってのはこういうもんだし。
Win some, lose some.
何よため息ついて。そこまで田村に肩入れしてたの？
What's wrong? What's the matter with you? Were you that set on Tamura winning?
まあね。大久保君に言っとけよ。おめえらの勝ちだ。好きなだけ稼げってな。
Alright, tell Okubo he's won. Him and his guys can make all the money they want now.
届かん。
So that's it.
どうするの？
What do we do?
俺にできることは何もない。
There's nothing to do
こ
but
の
keep
まま
watching
結果
to
を
the
見
end.
守るだけだ。
それでいいの？
Are you alright with that?
正当な勝負の結果であるなら。ここへ至る過程にはいろいろあったが、それでも田村が勝負から降り
Despite
ず、
all that happened on the way here, Tamura made the decision to settle it on the circuit.
ならばその結果は厳粛に受け止めねばならない。田村にかけたものも
Their responsibility to accept everything that comes
ま
with
だ
that
勝
decision.
負はついていない。
A responsibility shared by those who supported them. The race isn't over yet, of
すで
course.
に受け入れる覚悟を済ま
But
せ
it
たの
sounds
だ。
like Liger has already made her peace with the outcome.
残念。
Yeah, it's a shame. It is.
届かない。
Not working.
届かない。
Can't catch him.
どうしてこのままじゃ負ける。負けてしまう。
Dad's gonna lose.
お父さんが負ける。私のせいで。
He's gonna lose again because of me.
そんなのダメ。
I can't let that happen.
いざ
Lisa.
お父さん。
Dad,
何をしている。やるんだ。
what are you waiting for? Do it.
勝つために全てを。
Do what it takes to win. Let's see it.
第一コーナーの手前、そこで仕掛けろ。そこでしか効果はない。
Just before the first corner. That's the only place it'll work.
でもお父さんそれは。
彼らと同じことをしてやるだけだ。そうだろう。
That's no different than what they've been doing, right? Probably true.
リサオ、お前は知っているはずだ。僕もかつて未来をむしり取られたことを。
So you know how my future was stolen from me?
騎士としての僕はあれで終わった。だが、お前という娘を得て、もう一度ここまで帰ってきた。
The racer I was died back then, but I was able to return to the track through you, my daughter.
3度目のチャンスはない。今日田村が負ければ、総合競技は小京の主戦度どもに支配され
There
る。
won't be a third chance. If Tamura loses today, Shokyo and their lackeys will own the sport forever.
僕は負けられないのだ。ミサオ、
I can't lose, Misao.
ミサオ、僕に勝利をくれ。世界へ行きたいのだ。
Give me victory. Take me to the top.
世界へ逆襲したいのだ。
Ah, this emotional manipulation. Good stuff. He's not cheering her on. He's just like, how dare you fail me? Grant me one more shot at glory, or will you forsake me too?
いいえ
No, I'm with you.
わかるわかります
I'm
お
with you,
父さん
I mean, he's... And we definitely didn't get the suggestion he's the best dad from earlier, but at least they're both on board with the racing thing, I think. Don't guilt trip your own daughter. Yeah.
この命をくれたのはお父さんこの命のすべてはお父さんのために
You gave me my life. Everything I am belongs to you.
血と肉と力のすべてはお父さんの願いを叶えるために
Every drop of blood, every ounce of strength, all for your dream.
私とアベンジはそのためにいるそのためにしか
That's what Avenger and I are for. That's all we're for.
どうやら決着のようでご
Well,
ざ
it
い
looks
ま
like the
す
race
ね
is over.
どうなさいましたの
Is something the matter, Ichijo?
うん
Not really. It's
いや
just...
別に胃のあたりがムズムズしてきた
It feels like there's something gnawing at my gut. Like something bad's gonna happen.
アベンジ粘りますしかし届かない
Avenger hangs on tight, but it's not enough.
最後まで勝負を諦めない姿勢は立派よ。その執念が奇跡を生むかしら。
They deserve praise for not giving up the fight. Will their perseverance call down a miracle, I wonder?
起きないから奇跡って言うんですよ
It's not a miracle if that happens, you know?
何が言いたいのあんた。
That's supposed to be.
けどまあそうだね奇跡が起きりゃ話は変わる
You're
ん
right,
だ
a miracle. A true miracle could turn this whole thing around.
ちゃんと起こせるかな奇跡
Tomorrow have what it takes to pull out a miracle? We'll see. This girl's commentary, yeah, she's great. Her commentary is great.
さあホームストレートここを抜ければ19周目だ
Home
ラスト2
straight.
周
2 laps to go! Reminds you of Taiga. A little bit, yeah. She's also both commentators are like generals of the army. Yeah, Taiga from Toradora. That'd be great. Taiga's amazing. Love Toradora.
アベンジラストスパートか早い
Avenger makes one last dash fast, blazing fast, but
これちょっと無茶じゃね
aren't they pushing a little hard?
無茶よ。翼が割れかけてるわ。あんなの何秒も持たない。
Obviously, you can see how the wings are about to crack. It won't last more than a few seconds.
んでその後月が回ってガタガタになる
And
な
afterwards,
やけになっちまったか
they'll barely have the strength to finish. Are they that desperate?
このまま負けるよりはと思ったのかもしれないわね。けど残念ながら同じ。
Maybe they'd rather go out in flames. Too bad for them. It's all the same in the end.
アベンジウルティマを抜いたが
Avenger takes the wings. But at what cost?
翼が折れるわよ。
Its wings are going to snap.
アベンジ速度が落ちます限界に達している
It's reached its
ウル
limit.
ティマその背後をたやすくなるスリップについた
Oh, Ultima effortlessly takes Avenger's rear. It's entered the slipstream.
やっ
Utilize
無
that
駄に
thought.
終わったわね。
Just jettison the damaged equipment behind you? I don't know if you could actually do that, but that'd be real. Jettison the damaged equipment into the person in front of you and be like, oh, something broke off, sorry. Is that what they're thinking of doing? I wonder. Let's see.
さあ第1コーナーが近いウルティ
Here
マ
comes the first
そ
corner.
の前に抜きにかかる
Ultima moves in for the pass. Uh,
激突。ウルティマがコースアウトしてサンドトラップに突っ込んだわ。
Crash. Ultima just went headfirst into the sand trap? I don't think... Okay. I know they said sand trap in dialogue. That does not look like the sand trap. That is not what the sand trap typically looks like. It's the sand trap, guys. They build the sand trap extra high above everything else and give it a great view of things. Look at the fire and tell me this is a sand trap and not the fucking crowd. Now, I don't think... It does not look like the sand trap. It looks like a trap of tons of fans. Let's listen to that again. Did it actually say that?
激突ウルティマがコースアウトしてサンドトラップに突っ込んだ
It
わ
said sand trap. Is that... If they censored that, that would be fucking lame. That, like... I know they censor some of the content. And they actually do cut dialogue and change it for this version. But I'm curious if they did censor that. That doesn't seem like... Yeah, it's... You don't think that's censored? Okay, the image does not reflect what it's saying happened. That is clearly not the sand trap. Okay, so I haven't been too worried about like any of the censorship, but I'm curious about that part because that just seems unnecessary. Yeah, alright. Sand trap, guys. We're gonna ignore the fact that it clearly looks like the stands where all the people are, and we've gotten multiple views. We've gotten multiple aerial shots of this location, so I have no clue where the fuck the spectator seats, if these are not, sand. If these aren't the stands. Well, alright, it's in the sand heap.
それどころじゃない客席まで突っ込んで爆発してる
Oh, there we go. That wasn't enough to stop it. It went straight through the wall and exploded in the stands.
ちょうど抜きにかかろうと速度を上げたところで事故を起こしたのねなんてこと
An accident just as it was speeding up for the pass? Unbelievable. Okay.
ちょっとあんたぼーっとしてないで解説しなさいよこんなのレースではよくあることでしょアベンジは無事ね
Why are
走
you
って
just
る
sitting there? Do your job. Accidents happen all the time, don't they? Avenger is unharmed. It's still
ま
flying.
さかこんなことになるなんて
This is the last thing I
奇跡と
expected.
言っていい
Can
の
it be
か
called
し
a
ら
miracle? Maybe. I mean, I feel moderately bad for the fans, but I mean, the fans are also not calling for regulation on this, so... Oh, whatever. It's what it is. It's like, oh, I'm sorry for all the people, but I'm also not sorry for the racer who crashed, so I don't know whether... I mean, it's a game, so I don't have a connection or believe the people in the stands are real, so their lives don't matter to me. As I haven't been introduced to them as characters. I'd be more sympathetic if they were real people, but like, okay. The guy we have a connection to in this story, which is the racing group that's like that's rigging the races, is suffering. Therefore, I'm like happy. And then it's like random people. Why must the driver die? That driver is the driver driving for the team that is actively sabotaging the races by paying people off to throw the race and sabotage other competitors. I'm like feeling moderately justified. I don't think he should have died, but he's being a colossal dick and ruining other people's lives financially. So it's like, he probably doesn't need to die, and neither did those people, but okay, like whatever.
とにかくアベンジがトップ
Yep. In any case,
だったわ
Avenger took the lead.
神はあの青い機体を選んだのね
It looks like the gods have chosen the blue over the gold, right? It's like a bunch of random civilians died, and you're like, well, that wasn't exactly a great thing to do. But given the way the rules of racing work, I mean, if that's what they want to accept for races, I can't really complain too much. And also, this is like supposed to be super edgy and it's already censored, so okay. Like, whatever. I'm kind of expecting this, right? When I'm waiting, I was waiting for a crash. I didn't know if it'd be Tamura crashing and dying, because we've been introduced to her, or it'd be like some random fans dying. That's the random fans. I guess it's not a character yet. Maybe Miss Racer Chick's getting murdered by Muramasa. Who knows? All right, the gods have chosen the blue over the gold, and Avenger takes the lead.
その手使うのかよ。バカは。
That's your trump
そ
card?
れじゃ何にも面白くねえ。
Where's the fun in that? I mean, I repeat, buying out the other racers is just as bad. Is just about as bad in terms of the race. Ignoring the dead people, causing someone else to crash is about the same as actively blocking someone in terms of the race itself, because they're both cheating. In fact, it's probably worse to have bribery in your race. It's probably worse to have bribery in your tournament, because at least in theory, the best player could come out on top if they were all if they were good enough and durable enough to not crash. It'd be a very dangerous race, but it would also be a reasonable free for all. Having everyone bought off is pretty bad for competition. Like, if you would you want to go to a tournament? Would you want to go to a free for all tournament where every single person is against you? Is against specifically you? Like, it's like you go into like some streamer's lobby. You go into like some streamer's lobby, or you you go into some streamer's lobby and he's like, everyone kill this guy every single round. Just ignore everyone else. Like, that'd be the most miserable shit. No one would want to compete in that. It'd be so bad. Like, if you know everyone's bought off, it's like competition ends. It's just like when you assume everyone's hacking. Like, if there's enough hackers that you expect to see a hacker in every match, you just don't play anymore. Your competitive scene's dead, or is like soon to die, right? It's worse for the game. That said, killing people is also pretty bad for the game, but the least they could call for protection here. Or I would assume they do. Maybe it's part of the excitement. Maybe it's part of the excitement, the risk of you dying instead of the racers. I don't fucking know. I'm not a race car driver.
レーサーのくせにアベンジなんて怪物作ってみせたくせに
You're supposed to be racers. I thought
どうし
speed
て
was all you
速く
needed.
走る以外のことを考える
How do you build a mission? What are you whining about? What are you whining about? I don't know. I don't know what you're salty about. All right. It's clearly not about speed. It's clearly not about speed because you can buy off the competitors. Not about speed.
神話ができたかもしれないのに最後の最後で
This could have been the start of a
三文
legend.
芝居に落とし
But
や
you
がっ
turned
た
it into a cheap joke instead. Nah, you're just salty. You're salty. It's rude. It's bad sportsmanship, but it's also not good sportsmanship for you to pay off other racers. I don't care. I don't care about the sportsmanship part, man. I care more about the people than the sportsmanship, and since I haven't been introduced to them as characters, I don't care that much about the people. Sportsmanship wise, if your opponent's cheating and the judge won't do anything, it's perfectly reasonable to do any cheating you can get away with. Because otherwise you'll never win. You either concede, take your loss, or cheat back as subtly as you can. Depends on whether or not it matters, or if you're in a situation where you can do anything. Or like how much it matters. Like for me, most tournaments, if someone's cheating against me, I honestly don't care. I just call the judge, and if the judge is a dumbass and rules against me, I'm like, whatever, okay. We'll play his stupid rules, and then I have a story to go home with, because I don't, when I'm playing, I'm only playing for like $100 or something. When I'm playing competitively, I only play for like $100 or whatever. It's not like the end of the world. Well, I guess I played for like a couple thousand, but whatever. I only did that once, it doesn't really count. Like, I mean, there's only, you have like only so many choices, and if they're 100% cheating, like I can see how you pick any of those. I can honestly see how you pick all of those.
おい
Yeah,
ライ
right,
チョ
Joe?
あて帰るわあとよろしく
I'm out of here. It's all yours.
ちょっとどうしたのよいきなり
Wait a minute. What's gotten into you?
興味なくしたもういい
Stop caring.
どうで
What
も
the hell with it?
くそ
Salt? What do
つ
you
まんね
had to go and ruin it? What are you salty about? I think she just like you're not gonna win off speed if everyone's cheating. I don't care. You might win, you might not. Better to just take that win. Mita?
ミドあれはこの競技で認められ
Is
てい
that
るこ
allowed
と
in
な
this
の
contest? It probably should be. they defiled it. They defiled the dream. They're salty, and I'm just like, okay, you want to cheat? You could, like, I don't care.
マロは大いなる満足とともに今こそ告げましょう。美しい戦いを見たと。
Allow me to say, with deepest satisfaction, I witnessed a beautiful fight here today. I'd also like to point out that they're like, wow, that's gross. And they literally did that like 2 seconds ago to two people, to at least one person on purpose. The hypocrisy of Muramasa, of our protagonist is suddenly realized here. I mean, I know he's kind of like hypocritical. He's at least a self-aware hypocrite when he's like saving people and they tell him he's a hero and he's like, I'm not a fucking hero. He's like, I'm saving people, but I'm basically doing it for myself. Like, he's not being a hypocrite. He's like self-aware that he's not actually a great person, but he's like mad about this, and I don't quite get that one, considering he just did that to like one person, the same scene. Like, you literally just punted someone with Muramasa like 2 seconds ago to make sure they could actually attempt a race. I have no clue why you'd be mad that someone else just punted someone else. Like, you're clearly on board with this. Anyway, allow me to say with deepest satisfaction, I've witnessed a beautiful fight here today.
不幸な事故はあったけれど、それもまた戦いの彩り。危険あってこそ輝くものもある。
We mourn those who lost their lives, the sharp to the fortunes of battle. It's the risk of death which so enamors us, just as the reddest of roses have the sharpest thorns.
かくも美しく過酷な闘争を勝ち残った者は最大の称賛を浴びるに値するわ。
The warriors who emerge victorious from this
田
truly
村
beautiful
ファイティン
contest.
グファクトリー。
They deserve nothing but the highest praise. Stand forth, Tamura Fighting Factory.
あなたたちが勝利者よ。大和グランプリの栄冠はあなたたちのもの。
The day belongs to you. I present you the Yamato Grand Prix Cup.
あなたたちが史上初のアマーレスナショナルチャンピオンなのよ。
You are the first national armor racing champions of Yamato.
おめでとう。さあ、トロフィーを掲げなさい。
Now, congratulations. Raise your cup in triumph. Yes, my opinion is if you're in a tournament playing for real money, and if you're in a tournament playing for real money, if your opponent's cheating, you're free to abuse that rule as much as you like. Which I've also seen happen from judges. I have a friend who plays a ton of Melee, and I've actually seen judges make bad calls on rules, and my friend's like, "You're completely wrong, judge, but I'll abuse the shit out of that, thank you." It's pretty funny. They're like, well, that doesn't help me, but okay. And then they play that way for the rest of the game, and he's like, yeah, that was like the dumbest shit. I shouldn't have been allowed to do that. Yeah, you just play by whatever the rules are acceptable in the competition. You have to do that, right? You either do that or you just like accept losses. Maybe you win, maybe you don't, but as long as you're competing in the same way your opponent is competing, you're doing okay. You're allowed to compete at the same level as your opponent. Your choice of how pure it should be is whatever. It's your own personal honor. I can understand people wanting to cheat if their opponent's cheating. I mean, I don't want to, but I'm also not paying or playing for tons of money, so I'm allowed to just say I don't care, right? I have to have some sympathy for other people who are playing against cheaters. And I'm like, okay, well, if you're cheating, I guess maybe that seems justifiable. Would I do it? Maybe not. Would you do it? Maybe not. Would a theoretical person be justified? Well, somewhat. I know that once I do, I will. Oh, hold up. What? My body feels like lead. Still, I make no move to doff my tsurugi. I know once I do, I'll sleep like a dead man. The fatigue I feel in my heart and body will drag me to the hell of peaceful dreams. I won't be able to resist it. Not now.
影焼様
We're back.
どうでしたか。
What did you find?
ほとんどのチームは帰ったようです。観客も
Nearly all the teams have left and the stands are empty.
田村は。
And Tamura?
王子親子は先ほどようやく記者たちから解放されたようでございます。
The
つい
press
に
conference
わし
ended
が
several minutes
ガ
ago.
レージへ戻りました。
They've only just returned to their garage.
ありがとうございます。
Thanks. Muramasa?
村正。
ええ、
Here.
卵の反応は。
What's the egg status?
まだ この周辺にある。
In the vicinity.
覚醒寸前の状態のまま。
Still on the brink of hatching.
分かった。消去法で
Understood.
結
By
論
process
は
of
出たと言え
elimination.
よ。
We're left with only one conclusion.
そうなるかしらね。
I guess so.
でも、どうして寸前でとどまっているの？
I don't understand. Why is it stuck at the brink?
港さん、
What
これ
should
か
we...
らその
この先は俺の職責。お前は戻れ。指示あるまで待機だ
This。is my responsibility. Return home and await my instructions. But I can...
私も。
帰れ。
You're not needed here. Alright.
はい。
大尉殿も。後のことはどうかお任せください。
Please leave the rest to me.
わかりました。
Very well. We'll
後ほどまたお会いしましょう。
で
excuse
は
us, sir.
失礼いたします、港様。ご分を。
Good luck.
これは港さんですね。
Is that Officer Minato? Oji Suguru looks up in surprise when I enter my garage, still clad in my tsurugi. Misao is behind him, also armored. She probably hadn't had a free moment since the race in which to remove it. Looks like they were in the process of doing just that. Her face alone is visible. Avenger's helmet resting on the table behind her. Oh, interesting. You can take the piece. I guess you can take the piece off individually. No other staff are present. Father and daughter are alone.
どうしました、そのような格好で。まだお帰りではなかったのですか？
Why are you still suited up? Hasn't the police team left already?
はい。やらねばならぬことがありまして。
Yeah, but I had some business to attend to.
まさかわざわざ祝いに来てくださったのですか？
Oh, wait. Did you come to congratulate us in person?
いや、申し訳ありません。お待たせしてしまったでしょう。入れ替わり立ち替わ
Terribly sorry you had to
り、
wait so long.
マスコミの襲撃に遭いまして。なかなか。
We've been stuck in press conferences and interviews since the race finished.
残念ですが。
Afraid not. Sorry?
本当に残念ですが。
It's truly unfortunate, but that's not why I've
その
come.
ような要件ではありません。王子氏。
Then why?
では、一体。
自分は警察としての職務を果たしに参ったの
I'm
で
here to
す。
carry out my duty as an officer of the law.
田村工業勤務、王子卓、並びに王子美沙
Oji Suguru, Oji
あなた方
Misao, I'm
両名を
arresting you both on suspicion of
殺人
murder.
容疑で逮捕します。
Alright.
署までご同行ください。
Please accompany me to the station.
何ですかそれは。何のことだかさっぱりだ。
What are you talking about? We haven't done anything wrong.
ウルティマの事故のことですか？あんなのは走行競技では珍しくもないことです。
Is this about Ultima? It's unfortunate, but crashes like that happen all the time.
はい。
I know.
ウルティマは客席まで突っ込んだ上に爆発、炎上。本人を含めて6名の死者と15名の負傷者を生じさせました。
Ultima crashed into the spectator stands and exploded. The final tally is 6 dead, including the pilot, and 15 injured.
が、確かにアーマーレースでは起こりうること。特筆すべき事態とは言えません。
However, such tragic accidents do indeed occur from time to time, and no one is at fault. Is he accusing him of murder because it had a Shinichi? I wonder if that's the case. Right? I was like trying to decide. I was guessing, like, did he artificially make one, or is it actually a Shinichi? It's curious, right? Because it did have a special. And they noticed it from that distance. So it makes you think that he's gonna say, like, oh, you killed someone by turning them into a Tsurugi, right?
事故であるなら。
Assuming, of course, it was an accident. Okay. Or has he arrested them for knocking them into the stands on a suspicion of that? I don't know what Yoni's trying to do.
そうですよ。それに第一、あの事故と僕らは何の関わりもない。ウルティマの騎手が焦ってミスを犯しただけです。
Was. And besides, we didn't even touch Ultima. The pilot was so desperate to pass, he lost control.
いいえ。
No.
ウルティマに焦る理由はありませんでした。あの状況か。焦っていたのはあなた方に他ならない。
Ultima's pilot had no reason to be desperate. That word would better describe your state of mind at the time.
違いますか？
Would it not?
それは確かに。我々にも焦りはありました。しかし、小京とて同じです。 優勢な側には優勢な側なりの緊張があるものですよ、港さん。
So racers in the lead have their own pressures to contend with. It's true we were on edge, but that same goes for Shokyo.
その点は否定しません。しかし、自分は小京の騎手のことをいささか知っています。
I won't deny that, but I'm somewhat
彼
familiar
は
with
そんな
Shokyo's
緊張
racer.
感程度で、
He's not the
培
kind
っ
of
た
man
技
who would
術を
forget
見
his
失うような
training
男ではないのです。
and his experience under pressure.
だからなんだと。だから我々が何かしたに違いないとでも言うのですか。
What are you saying? He couldn't have made a mistake, so it had to be us?
とんだ詭弁だ。港さん、あなたの言うことには何の筋も通っていない。名誉毀損です。
Lies. Nothing you're saying has any basis. It's slander.
本来なら訴えるところですが、あなたには恩があります。今回は忘れましょう。お帰りください。早く。
Normally I'd take you to court, but I do owe you for yesterday, so I'll let it go. Now please, leave us alone.
あの時、あれを確認できたのは、ウルティマ、アベンジ両機の様子を後方から伺っていた自
I
分
was
と、
watching Ultima and Avenger closely from behind.
極めて注意深く、かつ、位置と視線の方角が適切であった観客席の人間。これは幾人もいないでしょう。
Other than myself, only spectators who are in a similarly advantageous position and possessed sufficiently keen eyesight could have seen what really happened. I doubt there were many, but there was at least one. So are you going to arrest yourself for, like, punching people and causing potentially fatal car accidents? On the basis of they were blocking a racer from competing that was not causing any active harm? I feel like this is super hypocritical. If you're a cop and you're like, I don't like the way those guys are acting, I'm gonna go beat the shit out of them, and then you like go arrest someone for doing the same thing. It seems like super hypocritical. Because you're clearly breaking the law by assaulting people, but you're like, okay, well I guess if you don't kill anyone, it's perfectly okay. Is that your rule? Like, is that how he thinks? Like, I'm just curious. Is that how he thinks? Like, as a police officer, if I find someone annoying, I should just beat the shit out of them, and as long as they're not dead, it's perfectly reasonable. Is that the world he wants to live in? I'm just curious, cause his hypocrisy is like super fucking intense here. Oh well, is what it is. Let's go. Okay, there's at least one person. Captain Otori.
何を言ってるのだか。さっぱり。
Oh, he's acting like he knows now. The jig is up now. What really happened? I don't know what you're...
ウルティマがアベンジを抜くために、アベンジへ注意を集中させた瞬間、アベンジの鋼鉄の一部が鏡面化し、日光を反射した。
When Ultima moved to pass, the pilot's attention would have been focused on Avenger, and at that precise moment, a segment of Avenger's armor became reflective, catching the sunlight and redirecting it towards Ultima. Unless that actively destroyed his armor, I'd say that's a pilot error.
スリップを活用して抜こうとした。まさにその瞬間です。
Ultima's pilot was blinded just as he started to sideslip for the pass. He lost control and crashed.
コースアウトし。
That is like a very, very tenuous claim to say that the reflective qualities of your armor blinded someone, causing them to crash. You could try to prove that, but that's pretty iffy.
惨事を引き起こした。
The result was horrific, 21 casualties, including the pilot.
21人を犠牲者とする。
All I gotta say is, what about the brakes? If he can't see and he's worried about crashing, press the brakes so you don't crash. Isn't that like a thing to do? Alright. It sounds like a skill issue. It actually does sound like a skill issue. Because otherwise, they would have made it illegal to have a gold-plated mech in the first place. Gold super reflective. It's like, ah, yes. Ah, yes, all of this, like, gold plating that could theoretically blind the person behind you, causing him to fly into the stands. Right? Wouldn't that be illegal in the race? Like, hello? He plated his armor in gold to blind people behind him so they couldn't pass him cleanly. Like, easy. He'd be like, ah, yes. I was blinded to, like, okay. You're like, how is this unreasonable? He is wearing literal gold, like a shiny he's wearing metallic paint. Clearly, he's wearing metal or metallic paint, also reflective. It gleams in the sun, it can blind you. How is he not getting arrested? Because he didn't end up causing an accident? Like, he's clearly, he literally weaponized half his freaking model to try and kill someone. Yeah, gold or any metallic paint would reflect colors. Would reflect light very sharply. Oh, they're actually doing like a blue color. You could actually argue that yours is safer than the other guys. Because you could argue that your own frame is safer than the other guys. Because he covered his whole thing in gold, and that's why we couldn't safely pass him on corners. Because he was literally trying to kill us. And it's like, it's a damn shame that a reflective part of this, like, I think you're pretty good there. It would be illegal to have any reflective colors if this was actually a justifiable thing. Because they actually don't have a lot of reflective material on their mech. Which would be super lame, but what do you know? Maybe it's like the first example and he's like, oh, it's an accident, but it happened. I think you might get away with that anyway if you just said like, oh, it wasn't on purpose, man. Like, if he says that's what happened and then that's what the like court agrees with, he's like, you just go, oh, well, I guess it happens, sorry. Can't they put anti-reflecting visor? I don't even know why it isn't. They have fucking IR. The Tsurugi have IR and radar built in. Tsurugi have IR and radar built in. Because we recently fought a guy who turned invisible. And the only way we could see him was with infrared. We couldn't see him on radar or with our eyes. So, you could also argue that light shouldn't matter because they have the ability to navigate in the darkness without using light. And that the infrared sensors and presumably like whatever passes for ultrasound should also have picked up anything in front of you. That, and you also saw you were at a fucking corner. You're passing on a corner and you're gonna blame your inability to see due to light reflect? Like, how would you ever say that? Like, you're wearing a reflective gold armor and you're like, oh yes, I couldn't see this blue mech, and you're like, yeah, okay. And? I mean, if you intentionally painted your mech that color to try and blind someone, you'd probably be in trouble. But all you would have to do is stick to, oh, that must have been an accident if that's what happened. Like, oh, I'm sorry he died. But he's also cheating. So, you say, I'm sorry he died, but his team was actually cheating, so I'm like really pissed at him. Because I'd be pissed off at him, right? I'd be like, fuck that guy, man. He's dead. I'm mad. I'm sad he's dead, but I'm fucking pissed at him, his whole team for cheating. By bribing the other racers to block me in. That was the scummiest fucking shit. Like, you'd say, like, I don't feel, I'm sorry he's dead, but like, he fucking deserves some punishment, and the racing team wasn't gonna do it. I didn't kill him though. I didn't try to kill him. I painted my mech fucking blue, if anything. Like, this guy in chrome should have been in jail for basically attempting to kill every single pilot in the race anytime they try to pass him. If that's your justification, right? Right? If you're like gonna say I'm in trouble for like maybe a corner being reflective, then you say like, okay, this guy is in full reflective chrome. Like, why would he not be like there for attempted murder like 30 times over? He attempted to kill every single racer he was near. Like, whatever. Wait, we know let's see how this goes. I mean, I'm just saying, like, as like a defense, if that's what you think happened, okay. Don't ask for proof. That's not. This guy's acting very poorly. This is why you want a lawyer, by the way. This is why you want a lawyer. Don't just talk to the cops. This guy's giving everything up. This guy's giving stuff away and implying that it might be on purpose. Asking for proof is suspicious. But okay, asking for proof is like a weird line when he should be continuing to protest his innocence, but whatever.
そこにあります。
Standing next to you.
王子ミサオ。直ちに女装すべし。
remove your armor.
そのレーサークルスを証拠品として押収します。
I'm confiscating that crux as evidence. Okay.
お父さん。
無意味な行動です。その銃を捨ててください。
Please throw your weapon. It's of
そ
no
れ
use
はた
here.
だ あなた
It'll
の
only be
罪を
adding to
増
the
やすだ
charges
けに
against
過ぎ
you.
ません。
No use?
無意味。
I'm afraid you're wrong.
違うな。レーサークルスのことなら何でも知っている。この距離でこの光景の弾丸は防げない。
I know everything there is to know about racing cruxes. Your armor can't stop this
あなた
caliber
が
at
い
this
なく
range.
なればいいんだ。
I need you out of
あ
this
なた
picture.
さえ
This guy is throwing so unbelievably hard, but on the other hand, yeah, they really can't prove that it was the light, and like there's so many reasonable defenses here, but here's the thing. So you could say, like, even if it was the case, that guy was literally trying to kill me, and it was an accident. It was like an accident. Like, I wasn't trying to kill him. Only a teeny % of my armor is reflective. I paint the whole thing blue because I'm trying to, not because I thought I'm being safe. I just didn't know that was a problem. Yeah, except this isn't a racing crux. Yes, the problem is this guy is being paranoid, but I also have like, I also have to give him some credit. So ignoring the fact he doesn't know it's not a racing crux and it has real armor, the police, so in Japan, the conviction rate is 100%, right? If someone takes you in, you are it's like 99 or 100% in Japan in real life. If someone takes you in, you are 100% going to jail. And they can also hold you indefinitely. So even if you're not convicted, you're going to spend 3 months. You're going to spend, I think, up to 6 months in jail, which will basically ruin your whole life, which is why they have a really high conviction rate. Because I don't know about you, but if you're arrested for 6 months, you're losing your job, you're losing your house, you're losing everything you own, and then you get to go free, and you're like, well, I lost all my stuff, and my life's over. Okay. It's like better to accept a guilty plea, better to make a guilty plea, and then be able to actually call people, because you're also not allowed to call people. So they can at least manage your assets when you get out of jail. That's why they always plead guilty. But anyway, in this environment, I don't know if that's true, but what I do know is that the police are super fucking corrupt and lazy, and the entire government's mega corrupt. So he might also just be like, well, I know I'm never going to get a fair trial if you accuse me of murder, so I'd rather shoot you. Completely reasonable here. I actually think it would be completely reasonable, given how the government officials have acted in the past. We haven't actually seen many of them be not corrupt. I mean, we obviously have the lady, what's her face? Purple, the love interest, adult love interest here. We have her, who's presumably like the only person in government who's not corrupt. So like, I don't even know if the judges would give him a fair shake, right? All the non-corrupt politicians get killed eventually. Yeah, for sure. Like, I don't know what the state of the courts is in this country, but given the lack of faith everyone has in the police, to do literally anything, like literally the same day they report a missing person, people are like, yeah, the police are never going to find it, just go look for yourself. Like, they're never even going to search. And in fact, they didn't search, because the person who was searching wasn't with the police. He was just searching for Ginseigo, who's in the area, and thought that might be a clue. No police actually looked for the missing person who got murdered, or like several people he murdered. Okay, so the police are super corrupt. They don't actually help you. I assume the courts are just as bad in this country. So like, if I was in this position where a cop was accusing me of murder, I mean, I don't even know if I'm gonna make it to the station alive, let alone get a fair trial. I may as well try to shoot my way out if I think I could do that. And again, this guy's also not acting like the most sane ever. So like, okay, if you think I'm not getting a fair trial ever, I'm just going to go to jail regardless of whether it's true or false, I'm definitely not going to present any evidence, because this guy's just going to accuse me and they're going to say whatever he says goes, get fucked. Like, if you think you can shoot him, maybe? Then no one else has the evidence because it's just him as a witness. Like, that might be okay. Then you just go to jail for shooting a police officer, which is probably worse, but you know, I don't think he's thinking rationally. I don't think he's thinking rationally, but he's got to think of something. You have to do something, right? Either like you're going to jail no matter what, even if you're innocent, or you're like trying to kill this cop, or you're like running. I don't fucking know. Seems like a tough one to think of a way out. Alright, well, he's gonna try and shoot him, and he's gonna be like, this isn't a racing croc.
無意味です。
It's no use.
あなたが
You intend to steal my
あな
victory?
たが僕の勝利を奪うのなら
銃を捨てなさい。
Lower your weapon.
死ね死んでしまえ
Die, you thief. That's impossible.
バカなそんなはずが
投降せよ、王子スグル。
Surrender,
あな
Ojusugu.
たの抵抗は不可能であ
You
る。
have nothing to gain by resisting.
なぜ
Why?
レーサークルスの薄い鋼鉄で
Racing croc's
防
armor
ぎき
can't
れるは
stop
ず
bullets.
がないのに
Can't be. Yes, I was in 15th with
そ
a
れは
with a regular ass Tsurugi. Get wrecked, kid.
それは
It can't be. I do like this because this is funny. He's like, in his head, he's like, it has to be a racing crux. It was beating actual racing cruxes legitimately. And now he's like, wait, fuck, it's actually, it was wearing armor this whole time? Like, it's a real armored suit? I mean, sure, it's like a hostile encounter, but I think it's really funny. This is how they choose to reveal to someone that it's actually an armored frame. He was racing at a massive disadvantage.
村正、外すぞ。
Muramasa, prepare to purge.
やっとよかった
Oh,
よう
thank
や
goodness,
く
I can
息が
finally
継げる
breathe.
鬼に会うては鬼を切る。
There are demons, I slay
仏に
them.
会うては仏を
But
切
there are
る。
saints, I slay them.
剣の断り。
Mine's the way of the
Kokoniori.
sword. Yeah, he is like in 15th with dead weight and not trying to win.
真打ちそんなどうして警察が
Now I gotta say, if he's just murdering them to do Muramasa's murder thing, I had my suspicion. Wait, no, this is Liger, right? This is Liger. Never mind. I was thinking that was for her, but it's actually for Liger. And I thought Liger was like a general, so it doesn't make sense why she'd be dying. Yeah, the only person we met was like this chick, right? But I don't know if she counts as a murder target for him, but I was suspecting, because Liger seems like a main character. What was that screen with the boxes? The affection meter. Literally our progress on a route for a waifu, and then I don't know what the fuck these are supposed to be. This last one I think was counting affection for, or like scene count with like one of the people we murder. So I was thinking it might be the murder person, but it was a little bit weird because like I don't think the general is the person we murder. It made more sense for Misao to be the person we murder. But I feel like the fight's not over, so maybe we're killing him on suspicion of being Ginseigo. Like, it wouldn't make sense to reveal ourselves. We're supposed to be undercover and not revealing ourselves either. Otherwise, we just go in as a Shinichi in the first place. It's kind of weird. I assume he's just killing them here? I'm not quite certain. We'll see. I'm not quite sure where the scene's going to go. Let's keep watching. I mean, I'm interested in where the scene goes. I just don't know where it goes. Like, either way would be fine. If he just arrests them or he just kills them, I'd be down with either. Why do the police?
王子すぐる。銃を捨てよ。
Oji Surugi, lower your
王
weapon.
子ミサオ。剣を上奏せよ。
Oji Misao, remove your Surugi.
両名に投降を命ずる。
Order you both to
一
surrender.
切の抵
Did
抗は
not attempt to
不可能。
resist. I mean, I could say on suspicion of being Ginseigo, it is the silver one because it has a Shinichi. It is this one because it has a Shinichi built in. And you could ask that. That seems reasonable. If anything, that was like my suspicion. That'd be like a reasonable suspicion. I still thought it was someone off the track, but like, if it's gonna be one of the racers, it's gonna be the one with the Shinichi, right? That seems like a reasonable assessment, especially because both Muramasa and this guy immediately noticed that something was off about the speed. I order you both to surrender. Don't attempt to resist.
どうして
Why is this happening?
どうしてこんなことになる やっと勝利を手にしたのに。
I finally have a victory. I can finally challenge the world.
世界に挑戦できるのに。港さん、あなたは僕を応援してくれていたんでしょう。
You're rooting for me too, weren't you?
僕
You
の
know how my
胸
dream
を
was
知っ
stolen?
ているでしょう。
I assume the egg hatches in like 2 seconds? It seems weird to go into this side path if he doesn't suspect it's them, right? The reason is, my reasoning is, yeah, you think the egg's gonna hatch? Exactly. Like, I think it's gonna be Misao. Because it doesn't really make sense for it to be like, for him to reveal himself here unless he's confident it's her, right? Because this guy's this guy's also supposed to be like super undercover. The fact that he has a Tsurugi, it's not supposed to be known to literally anybody. Or that he's like working with the police, because the police aren't supposed to have any actual weapons or way to counter Tsurugi. But he has a real one here. So he has to be planning on killing them, right? Like being like, oh no, this is a police one, it has built-in armor. In the event someone tries to kill us. Or like, we didn't want to risk losing an officer. You could maybe like bullshit your way and say like the backup had armor that's like thicker than everything else. Because we, you know, don't have a lot of time to practice or something. Like, you could bullshit your way out of that with like some really flimsy excuse. Yeah, you could like bullshit your way out, but like he wouldn't want to reveal that, right? So I'm thinking his suspicion is that he's got to kill them both, one or both of them anyway.
僕はようやくあの挫折からここまで帰ってきたんだ。
I finally made it back to
ど
the
れ
top.
ほどの苦労だったか。
Don't you know how hard it's
あなたなら分かってくれるはずで
How much
す。
I've suffered.
見逃してください。お願いします。
I beg you.
お願い。
You're pretty sure he could? Maybe. He could bullshit his way out of it, but I'm thinking that he's doing this because he suspects that she's Ginseigo. Or that she's got the Ginseigo egg in her suit. And that's why she has the Shinichi.
あなたの苦労は知っている。おこがましくも
I
同
actually
情
would
さ
have
えする。
I would have liked it if he had tried to arrest her on a suspicion of like having a Shinichi and like killing someone to make a new model Tsurugi. Because like to make Muramasa, right? The person who made Muramasa is Muramasa. Like the smiths to make Tsurugi, to make authentic Tsurugi, right? Like the suits of power armor. You have the person who makes it puts their soul, like they transmute themselves into the armor. So that's why Muramasa has intelligence, right? Because she was a real person. So like I don't know if you can accuse someone of murder for making an actual Tsurugi in secret. I feel like that would have been better. That would have been like a really good accusation. You're like, hey, I saw that. You shouldn't be able to do that. Did you kill someone? Did you kill someone to make your power armor? That would have been an interesting accusation. The racing reflection one, I mean, maybe, like, sure. If he was just trying to arrest someone, I thought that would be a cool trick. He's like, yeah, I'm sure that was an accident. But about that super speed. About that super speed, got questions for you, because that isn't a known model of Tsurugi. That'd be an interesting arrest. Oh well. This still kind of works. If one uses its own soul, it's not murder. It is murder if you force someone to transmute themselves into a weapon that you directly control. Yeah, exactly. Would that not be murder? If you're like holding someone hostage and you're like, turn yourself into a fucking suit of power armor or I'll kill you. And it's like, now your armor, my daughter's gonna wear you and use you to win the Grand Prix. Like, you're my puppet for the rest of forever? That's pretty close to murder, my friend. Might be even worse. As I don't know how much independence the actual controller of authentic Tsurugi has over their body and or abilities. Like, turning someone into an immortal suit of armor and then like having them as your family slave for like the rest of forever seems pretty brutal. Seems pretty brutal. But I don't know like we don't know enough about the process. We just know that that's what it takes. So we don't know if that's possible, but that'd be an interesting accusation to see. Maybe we'll see something like that in the later arcs, or a side story or something. He sympathizes with your plight and he knows the trials you face. Then,
港さん
しかし
however, you have committed murder.
あなたは人を殺めた。
Officer, it was me.
港さん
I did it.
やったのは私です。
Well, now they're admitting. You're being really inefficient, guys, but whatever. It's the 40s. I assume education is really limited.
お父
It's
さ
not
んじゃ
Dad's fault.
そう正教のやつを殺したからなんだって言うんだ
What if I killed
あ
Shoku's
な
father?
たも見たでしょ
You saw what they did? They tried to
奴
kill
らこ
us?
そ先に
They
僕
paid
た
a
ち
bunch
を
of
傷
people
つ
off
け
to try and kill
殺そう
me.
としたんだ
You could also say the gold was it. This guy needs to chill the fuck out, but alright.
奴らと同じことをしてやったに過ぎない
We didn't do anything it didn't do first.
彼らと同じことをしたのなら彼らと同じ
If
く
you committed the same crime,
罪
you
を
should
負
receive
う
the
とい
same
うこ
punishment.
と一歩譲って仮にそこに目をつむるとしても
Even if I'm willing to overlook the murder of Shoku's pilot, okay.
事故に巻き込まれた観客の人々に対しては一切の弁明が通用しない
There's no justification for the deaths of
彼ら
spectators
はあ
caught
な
in
た
the
に何
explosion.
をしたわけでもない
They did nothing to you, yet they
に
killed
も
them all
か
the
かわら
same.
ず
This
殺され
motherfucker.
あるいは重傷を負った
I love. I feel like I don't know if he's being serious. It's so hard to tell. Remember, this guy like randomly murders people who know about him, all the time. So like in the last chapter, he literally went up to like two random children who helped him out and just he decapitated. He went out of his way up a mountain, abandoning the village, which then got slaughtered by Ginseigo, by the way. So indirectly killed them, but anyway, not important. We'll not include those because he didn't know that. He left the fight of a battle, went and murdered two people. Then went to the village to go and murder the village chief who knew about him, except the village chief was already dead. And now he's like, you killed 6 people. I'm like, okay, dude. Okay. Like, it's, yeah, it's like, all right, the character's hypocrisy is real, but it doesn't make him a bad character. As it's intended to, right? He did that twice, by the way. He also went out of his way to kill, like, the previous fake protagonist, right? So that he saved this kid from being murdered by another guy in a suit of power armor, brought him back home, the kid got back home, and he went and met up with him at his house and just, like, chopped his head off. And then flew away because he knew about him. Which is interesting. So since he's, like, killed a ton of random people who just know about his existence, that's why I said the guy's probably not living, right? It's like him being mad at this is kind of funny because it's like you live the same life. And I know he's been down on himself bad, right? He's like, man, I can't believe I had to kill those people. It's so shitty. But the fact that he's mad at this is kind of funny. It's like you do the same thing, but you hate people who do it. It's like, whatever. It's like, okay. Like, you do yours for your job because you value it. He does his for his because he values it. I think if my opinion was for my convenience I have to murder you, then for anyone else's convenience they could murder me, right? If that was my opinion. Anything else would be hypocrisy, but hey, it is what it is. I think the way this story is written, this guy's supposed to be a little bit like that, so I'm okay with this. As, he consistently claims he's not a hero, and he doesn't actually do real police work, he hunts Ginseigo, so I'm still thinking that he suspects that Ginseigo's, the Blue Avenger. Or the potential Ginseigo's that one. We'll see.
観客がどうした？あいつらは僕が活躍している間は拍手喝采を送ってよこし
Hell with the fans.
勝
They were
利
happy
の
to
欲
applaud when I was
を
on
浴び
top.
て楽しみ
When they could share in my glory. Also, if he has like some strange mental compulsion to murder people, I'd also count that as the same thing as this guy killing people. That would still be hypocrisy. I'm like, what are the other conditions he could have to kill people? He's an obsessive killer. He's an obsessive killer with a compulsion to murder people. It's still your fault. Yeah, to hell with the fans. They were happy to applaud when I was on top when they could share in my glory.
ひとたび僕が挫折すればあっさり忘れて次の英雄へ笑顔を向けたような連中だ
One setback and they trade me
僕
for
を
the next
消
hero.
費しただけだ食い物のように玩具のように
I gave them the best years of my life and they used me and threw me away like a toy. This guy is like so badly like giving away his motives and everything. He's doing like the he's giving like the he's giving an admission of guilt, a motive, and he's giving an admission of guilt, a motive, and a lack of remorse. So if this was actually a cop drama, this guy would be like super fucked. He'd be going straight to jail. But again, I'm still thinking dying seems like there's a pretty good chance he just dies.
そんな奴らをどれだけ
Let
巻き
us
込も
10 die
うが
or 100, let him burn.
僕の知ったことが
He's pretty salty about this. He's pretty salty about this, and I actually think this guy's in the wrong. But like I said, he's not really making a lot of sense here.
投降せよ
Surrender. You have to take into account he's driven by his emotions and they're conditioned by their environment to be like this. True, they are very much conditioned by their environment to be like this. Because that's the entire attitude of the Rokuhara, right? They actually don't give a fuck about running the country. And they're just brutal and oppressive. So if they rule with like if they rule without the consent of the people and they regularly murder people, regularly murder whole towns, for like having one guy who disagrees with them, I'd say like the philosophy of might makes right is like heavily ingrained in society here to the point where like maybe pulling this gun is completely reasonable in his head. Nothing on record so he wouldn't go to jail. I feel like telling it to the police would still be telling the police to their face that you're the killer is still pretty heavy evidence. Is still pretty risky. Like it's not on an official police record, but the state he's in, it wouldn't be easy, it wouldn't be hard to get him back there. Like this guy's manic as fuck. He's losing it already just under this pressure. You could get him to do this again. You could get him to crack again, or since he's already cracked, he might be even more willing to just admit things in a jail cell really quickly.
投降し幕につけば危害は加えない
If you submit to my custody,
法に基
no harm
づい
will
た待遇を保
befall you.
障する
I promise you'll be treated fairly under the law. Me sitting here thinking, I don't think the law is at all fair, but okay.
逮捕されれば僕はどうなる
If I go to
ミサ
jail,
オはどう
what'll
なる
become of me? Or of Misao?
今日の勝利は
What of my
世界
victory?
への挑戦は
What of the world?
奪うんだなすべて何もかも僕から
Take it
奪
from
うん
me.
だな
You'll take everything I've fought for? Of course.
諦めろと
Am I supposed to give up, abandon the dream again?
またしても僕に諦めろというのか嫌だ嫌だ嫌だ嫌だあんな思いは一度でも嫌だ二度も味わわされてたまるものか
I wonder if the magistrates are Rokuharan or not. Because if this guy says, I pulled a gun on this cop and he actually has a real Tsurugi, I wonder what that would be like. He's like, yeah, this guy has a real Tsurugi. I wonder if he'd actually go to jail. Oh no, wait, the police commissioner's on his side. I wonder if the Rokuhara would go after him. That'd be kind of funny. If he actually chose to do this. But like, again, I don't think he's just getting arrested. That would be just like really weird from our protagonist's perspective. Kageaki doesn't seem like the kind of person to arrest anybody. I'll never taste defeat. I won't go back to that pit of despair.
渡さないぞ今日の勝利は僕のものだ世界への道は僕のものだ誰にも渡さない
This victory is mine. This is my ticket to the world, and you can't have it. No one
王
can.
子すぐる
Neither can you.
あなたが戦い方を誤った
It
時
ceased to be yours the moment you chose the dishonorable path. Alright. I won't accept this. I won't fail again.
認めないぞ
I won't fail again.
僕は
This is the guy. It's like, it's kind of funny, right? I'm not too bothered by this guy's hypocrisy because he seems like the kind of person who acknowledges his own hypocrisy. But like our main character is like telling someone they shouldn't kill people to achieve their own personal objectives when our main character is a guy on death row that's like accepted a deal from the commissioner to get limited freedom in the pursuit of his own agenda, and in the pursuit of his own extrajudicial agenda. Like, okay, his own extrajudicial murders that the police commissioner agrees with, and he's like, this isn't hypocrisy. Because the police aren't officially investigating Ginseigo, right? Nor are they allowed to. So our protagonist is... Every time our protagonist goes hunting for people, he's like just throwing the law in the trash, but he apparently he's got this duality where he thinks someone else should be honorable when he's not, based on his own. But it's like, okay, it's kind of fun to read that and be like, okay, I mean, I could see why someone would do this. It seems like something a real person might do. Why not? It's just amusing to read, but I'm liking it still. Oh, that's fine. I won't accept this. I won't fail again. Isao, take up your armor.
クルスをまとえ
My armor is made of paper. Dad.
お父さん
王子すぐる投降
Surrender. Oh, Suguru.
ミソ
So, Misao's.
はい
Yes, Dad. Well, it's time to find out if it's super armored. Time to find out if this is secretly got some real armor or if it's just really fast.
王子ミサオ父の指示に従っても意味はないレーサークルスをどう操ろうと交戦は不可能
Stop obeying your father. Stop obeying your father will change nothing. A racing crux is powerless against me.
上層せよ
Remove it at once.
ごめんなさい湊さん
I'm sorry.
きっとあなたが正しい
I'm sure you're right.
けど間違っていても私はお父さんに従います
But even if he's wrong, I choose to follow my dad.
そうだミサオ僕らは別々のものでは
That's right,
ない
Misao. We're one and the
一
same.
つのものだ僕はお
I'm
前
you,
だ
and you're me.
お前は僕だ
はい
I know.
お前の勝利が僕の勝利だ
Your victory is my
だか
victory.
らお前は
That's why you have
勝
to
たな
win.
くてはならない
Isn't your crux damaged, too?
はい
I know, Dad.
僕はお前を勝たせなくてはならない何をしても
And that's why I have to make sure you win no matter what. There's the egg. There's the egg. It wasn't implanted. That's why they couldn't find it. Oh, that would be a good one. I hadn't considered that.
ミド
You know
あ
that?
れは
From his pocket, Saguru pulls a shining sphere the size of his fist. Ginseigo's egg, it wasn't implanted. Well, I was half right. I said it wasn't in any of the frames and that it's in someone else's. I know. I did make a claim as to who it was. Or whose it was. But we won't know that. We can't know that. But we do know that it wasn't actually in any of the frames. Okay. Or it wasn't actually in any of the Tsurugi. So, I feel like that was that was the obvious. That part was obvious, but I thought it was in another one. Damn. Alright. I was half right. I thought it was in a one that wasn't on the field. It's actually just not implanted. Very nice. It wasn't implanted. Hikaru just gave it to them like that?
だから発見できなかったのか
That's why we couldn't find
だ
it.
から孵化しなかったの
And that's why it hasn't hatched?
お父さん
That's
それは
力だ
power.
と
Terrible power.
とてもとても恐ろしい力だ銀色の悪魔にもらったのだよ
A silver demon gave it to me.
それを直ちに引き渡せ、王子すぐる。
Hand it
それは
over
お
once.
前に何も与えない。
It will grant you nothing.
ただ奪うだけだ。
It
何
will
も
only
か
take
も。
everything from you. He's not wrong. Though I have to ask, how did he get within range of Ginseigo? Actually, there's a question. If he says a silver demon gave it to me, aka Ginseigo personally handed it to you, I know this is really bad. I know we're well past the legal defense part, but you could claim insanity as Ginseigo induces insanity in anyone within like 100 meters of it. if they aren't in a crux / Tsurugi. So, in theory, since that guy's not a pilot, he would presumably have been driven insane? For an unknown amount of time? And have to be proven sane? Who knows? And so that was revealed to us as one of the effects of it. If Ginseigo shows up, that's why they want to stop him, right? If Ginseigo shows up if Ginseigo or a copy shows up at the race, everyone goes insane and kills each other. So, a good defense for murder would be, I was literally in range of Ginseigo. Everything he did was borderline insane. Yeah. You can be like, yeah, I haven't been acting myself. Sorry, a smart person would argue that the guy was insane the whole time. I don't know how much Misao has to follow him. She might also have been near the Silver Slaughterer as well. He's got lots of names, all edgy. Right? That would be an okay justification if someone was to argue on his behalf. You could say he's insane. He was driven insane and needs to be like re-educated or put in an asylum for a while till we can prove he's sane. Yeah, it might be able to not use its power to render people insane. That is absolutely true, and I 100% believe that. I assume that it is an active ability. But the fact remains that Ginseigo can drive people to madness, even who don't want to be it, from a large distance away. So it doesn't even have to come into physical contact with you. And this guy just admitted to being handed an item. Right? So in the opening scene, Ginseigo drives everyone insane from like, I don't know how far away it was, like a couple kilometers. Like, we didn't even see it for a while after everyone started killing each other. Unfortunately, asylums tend to be a one-way street, especially in the 40s. Oh yeah, for sure. I'm not saying it's a better answer, but I'm saying like there's several defenses you could say to justify so much. He has so many reasonable defenses if he was like super chill and the legal system was good. As you'd have to look at this frame and tell me that it's reflective anywhere. I guess it is kind of reflective. The blue's reflective, but it's not metallic blue, right? I assume it's like a plastic blue. Anyway, it's sad that it came to this, but I think this guy was planning on killing them anyway and driving them into a corner and giving himself a justification to murder them on a hunch is like way better for this guy, for Kageaki's ego, right? Now he's like feels justified because they're murderers and they've confirmed it verbally. Even if it won't hold up in a court, or its utility in court is debatable, and whether or not it actually passed muster is another question. But now he feels more justified when he murders these two people, like he was planning on doing in the first place. That's my thought. We don't always have Kageaki's thoughts, but the fact that he showed up in his Tsurugi planning to use it as a weapon against a couple civilians is pretty suspicious when he's not supposed to even have the thing. So he is probably planning on murdering them in the first place. It's one thing if he's like, it's his sidearm that he carries all the time, which by the way doesn't have bullets. He does have a gun because he's a cop, but it doesn't have bullets. That's how the police operate, right? That's how the police operate. They have guns without bullets. So, this guy is not supposed to have any power armor to murder people or arrest them or any authority like that. He would be taken right away. He'd be probably killed or have his armor confiscated by the Rokuhara, who are presumably in charge of the courts. So I think these guys are just dead no matter what, and he's just trying to justify their deaths to himself. I mean, implicitly.
悪魔もそう言った。これを使えば何もかも失う。
That's just what the Silver Demon said. Use this and I lose everything.
そして引き換えに
In exchange,
望むだけの
all
力
the
を得
power
ら
I
れ
could
ると
ever ask for.
最速の世界を制する夢が叶うと。
Enough power to become the fastest in the world?
疑問だ。確かに力は得られるかもしれない。しかしその力はお前も
Don't
娘
be
も
fooled.
食い破らずには置かない。
It may give you power, but the power will consume you utterly, you and your daughter.
だからどうした。僕は自分の滅びには耐えられる。僕の一部ミサオを失うことにも耐えられる。耐えられないのは
So what? I can accept my own destruction. I can bear the loss of Misao, intertwined as we are. What I can't suffer
僕とミサオの勝利が失われることだけだ。
is for our dream to be stolen
落
from
ち
us.
すぐる。
ミサオ、僕らは勝つ。
Must win
必ず
Misao.
勝つんだ。
No matter what.
はいお父さん
I know, Dad.
ミド、ダメ、止めて。
You know, you have to stop him.
うわー。
お父さん
Dad. The egg.
お父さんお父さん
What was Dad gonna do? Probably give the egg. Yeah, he was gonna give the egg to the lady. He was gonna give the egg to Misao here. Go.
いけ
Go. Misao.
いけ。ミサ
Curious thing is that it's not her dream. Their father brainwashed her into believing so. Yeah, it is what it is. Her father's manipulating her into being like the person who achieves his dream. The usual controlling parent thing where they like basically using you as a proxy to fulfill their own dreams. He's not even being subtle about it. Like anyone can see that. But I think that's the character he's supposed to be, right? He got the egg from the businessman he was giving his daughter to? Really? I thought he was getting money. They did not make that clear. Maybe, I don't know if they made that clear in the uncensored version, but alright.
勝つんだ。世界に勝つんだ。
The world's waiting. So much blood.
ミサ
I'm with you, Misa.
オ、僕はそこにいる。そのアベンジが僕だ。
Yeah, Avenger and I are
お前
one.
の血肉が僕だ。
You and I are one.
忘れたのか。
Don't you remember?
世界を超えろ、ミサオ。
Take
僕
my
の
machine,
期待
my skills, and conquer the world.
僕の技術だ。
Is that why Muramasa couldn't locate the egg? It wasn't in a host? I guess so. They were checking they were checking other hosts. They were checking for potential hosts. They weren't thinking that it wouldn't be implanted yet. That's why they couldn't find it, because they were just checking. I guess it's easier to identify when it's implanted than it is by itself. But yes, it wasn't in a Tsurugi, and they were only checking Tsurugi. I don't know how they'd check every single individual and what's in their pockets. Probably couldn't reasonably do that. Take my skills and conquer the world.
僕を世界の頂点へ連れて行ってくれ。
Take me with you to the top of the world.
ミサオ。
So... That's it, Misa. Fly
そう
faster.
だ。
Faster.
ミサオ。
Did he actually get that out?
早く。早く走れ。世界の
Until no one can touch you.
先端まで。
Ripperoni mechanic.
あ、
I guess this counts as the mechanic being the guy with it. Oh, Oji Suguru is dead. I killed him, and I couldn't stop him. I killed a man for nothing. What sickening injustice. Again. I've done it again.
Mido!
He was literally here to murder this guy, and he's like feeling bad about it. See what I mean about trying to create a justification for himself by accusing them of stuff? He's like guilt tripping himself, and you're like, okay.
ミド追って追うのあの卵は覚醒寸前だったのきっとあれは他の剣で培養された後摘出されたもの
The egg was on the brink of hatching. It was probably raised in another Tsurugi and then taken out and given to them. Yeah, right? That's why I said the guy's being super hypocritical, and he's trying to create a justification for him killing these guys because he was gonna kill them anyway. And now he's whining about loathing how he killed them, and I'm like, I mean, you made your justification, and it actually seems okay. You drove the guy into a corner. You basically promised him the end of everything because it's Japan, and it's Japan, and the legal system's super corrupt in this setting, so you know what's gonna happen. It's gonna bite him in the ass in later chapters. Maybe. Maybe it's gonna bite him in the ass. Maybe. But, like, we know this is the character. Substitute Beatrice for Misao when? Oh no, we already had substitute Beatrice. That was last chapter. Last chapter was the guy who was just like, just Control F replace Beatrice with, what was her name? The random ass lady that he was like obsessed over. There was a guy who like, he was straight up wannabe Kinzo. It was great. He was great, and he even did like the Kinzo thing where he sees their like granddaughter and is like, ah yes, you're an acceptable substitute, and obsesses over them just as hard. Alright, so it was probably raised in another Tsurugi, taken out and given to them. That makes sense.
だからこれまでは決して孵化しなかった
So it's been
けど
dormant
今
all
は
this
違
time?
う卵はあの剣の中で孵化に向かって進んでいる
Now it's got a new host? It'll hatch any second now. Yeah, Ichijo's grandma, and Ichijo was the child Beatrice. Looks the same as apparently that one too.
このまま待てばここがどこか分かっているでしょミド
If that happens, you know where we are, Mito? Kamakura will be destroyed. Kamakura, having low 6-digit population, will be destroyed. Alright. Muramasa's right. This is no time to wallow in self-serving grief. How badly did they depopulate the country if it's like... If, like, the Kamakura region has 6 digits when it has, like... When, like, the census says in the 50s it had millions. Or sorry, we did that... No, we did that for Kyoto, right? They purged Kyoto, and we went and looked at the census data and was like, they killed like 3 million people. Like the Rokuhara killed like 3 million people. 3 million people, like the entire population of Kyoto. All right, which is fair. If we're referencing, you know, less I wouldn't say less culture, but less lawful, ordered times? Yeah, I can see people resorting to violence very quickly. Muramasa's right, this is no time to wallow in self-serving grief. Okay. For now, I have a duty to perform.
Yuke.
Let's go. Right. Honestly, like, I think you could, if you had the suspicion that he actually had, like, an unimplanted egg in his back pocket, you have a perfect... You're probably allowed to just kill him, because he's probably going to implant that egg sooner or later, right? This whole city must be purged? Not yet. We don't need to pull an Arthas yet. Yeah, Kinzo had a child with his daughter? Absolutely. Looking back on them now, her memories are filled with images of her brother. What? Target acquired.
サーキットに向かっているのか
She's headed for the circuit. Isn't the circuit like 5 feet away? Oji Suguru and Oji Misao are not in fact father and daughter, but siblings separated by age. Oh, interesting. Late in life, Suguru's father took a second wife, conceived Misao, and in a wonderful display of devotion to his duties as a parent, died shortly after she was born. His young widow proved no less devout, and she quickly found a new husband and moved in with him alone. Truly, she and Seguru's father were meant for each other. Alright, that was like sudden info. Alright. Seguru and Misao were left on their own, and that was not all that fate had in store for them. It was right around this time the war broke out and Seguru's future was lost. Interesting, we got numbers instead of characters here. And W presumably for West. Also, I'm pretty sure this is like a color shifted version of the last place we were. She's just gonna race the circuit. She also has health points and energy points as well as an energy gauge. Interesting. Just looking at the interface, since I wasn't expecting to get a new interface. Why does it need EP? I don't know. They have an energy bar at the bottom. So Seguru and Misao were left on their own, and that was not all fate had in store for them. When Seguru's future was lost when the war broke out. Misao was born in the midst of Seguru's tribulations, and as he tried to pick up the pieces of his shattered family and shattered dreams, she never knew her brother's glory. To her, OG Seguru was defined by his defeat, and so she too was defined by it. Accelerometer on the left? Or, right? 0000. Got it. The blue crux enters the home straight and streaks across the starting line. Such speed! She's getting away. Did they fix her? Didn't have to coils, sorry. I joined the flows. Linear Excel! Seguru decided he would be Misao's father and made her address him accordingly. From this first step, one might already guess he was not cut out for the role, and as it turned out, the king of the track was a very poor parent. We couldn't tell. Misao experienced much hardship as a child. She had to endure far more than her peers. It would not be unfair to blame this on her brother. But it wasn't from any lack of love. Whether Seguru's actions brought Misao joy or anguish, they were always firmly rooted in love. This is a really loud engine. What more then did she need? Oji Misao was blessed. Thank you. 1455. Is that seconds or minutes? One more boost. Are you sure? Every millisecond critical. Apprehending the enemies are our only concern? Got it. I bind the fields. Come hither. Gravity accent. It didn't change even after she became a racer, although this path forced even greater hardship upon her. 321, 150 full energy. Seguru knew only the art of racing. He had nothing else to teach, so that was what he taught. And once he discovered Misao's talent, however, his lessons took on a clear purpose. He realized she could fight in his place. Seguru vowed to make a racer of her, and that's exactly what he did. The training was harsh, the material vast, and worst of all, the struggle for funding, a struggle that wounded her spirit far more than it did her body. Yet Misao never cursed her lot in life. Her brother's love was there as ever. He wanted her, needed her with an intensity that knew no bounds. She was the key to reclaiming his dream. I know these are moving randomly, but presumably she's moving at like 290 kilometers an hour, 280 maybe? She's the key to reclaiming his dream. Of course, he's living through her by proxy. Perhaps by that time it had ceased to be love. If he truly needed her, if she truly was irreplaceable, it was at least something close to love, even if it was no longer love itself. And that was all she needed to be happy. For she knew her soul had decided that she lived for her brother alone. 3613 seconds? Oh, 3643 seconds, right?
Yes.
Good. We have her. Misao's arms are her brother's arms. Her legs are her brother's legs. This body that he raised and nurtured was made to serve him. She was born into this world for one purpose, to fulfill her brother's dream. Her brother's dream. 4964. What?
そんな
No way.
新規まで使っている私よりもさらに速い
Even with gravity on her side, she's still faster.
1分25秒13。知っているな、ミサオ。
世に見惚れたかうむうむ この正直者め。
Thanks for the follow, Hato Blue. I appreciate it, my dude. Maybe he's a fan of the blue racer, the Avenger. 125.13. Do you know what this is?
僕はあの領域に挑む。世界の頂を望んで果たせなかった過去に逆襲する。
I will break his record. I will avenge my shattered dreams of glory.
だから超えてみせてくれ。
Show me, Misao. Show me what lies beyond.
世界の極限を。僕のアベンジを果たしてく
Conquer
れ。
the world. Claim my vengeance. 125.13. Beyond lies her brother's dream. 125.13. This is Misao's enemy. 1 minute 38. It is minutes.
村正、ここから仕留める。
Muramasa will take her from here.
どうやって？
How?
裏だ。
A ranged attack.
了解。
Understood.
エンチャントエンディング。
Enchant ending.
翼をください。空をひたかけるために。
Alright, she goes for her chant again. It's a long chant. Grant me wings that I might rule the
翼を
sky.
ください。父の願い
Grant
を
me
叶え
wings
る
that
た
I
めに。
may lead my father to glory.
翼をください。願いに打ち勝つための
Grant me
翼を。
wings to conquer the world.
アベンジ・ザ・ブルー。
Avenger in blue. Yoshino Onryu Kasen Reiho adapted from Hiko.
レールガン歌詞
Railgun Kishiri. Missed.
避けた。
It missed.
嘘。
Possible. Muramasa's sword was faster than a bolt of lightning and she dodged it? The top of the world. That's where Oji Misao, where Oji Suguru belongs. Leave everything else behind. Reign alone and untouchable. She has more than doubled her speed, by the way. She was hovering at like 290. Now she's at, what's this, like 5, 2, 4, 6, 8, 580. At a solid 580. Reign alone and untouchable. Fly, Misao, to solitude. The world all your own. 1744.
ダメ。
No, I can't
追
catch
え
it.
ない。追いつけない。
This may be the first time I've heard such despair in Muramasa's voice. It's not Ginseigo we're facing now, or even another Musha, but an armor racer, the pilot of a mere racing crux. But that crux, a hollow toy built by vulgar methods of modern industry, has defeated a masterpiece forged with the arts of myth. So be it.
やむなし。村正、敵機の進路と速度を計算。合流可能地点で待ち構える。
Muramasa will predict the target's course and try to get ahead of it.
二度。
Nita, will we make it in
で
time?
もそれじゃあ負荷に間に合うか。
Well, you don't have a choice if you can't catch it.
わからぬ。だが他の道はついえた。
As he says, I don't know, but we're out of options.
了解。
Understood?
じゃあ目標地点は？
What's the rendezvous point?
ホームストレートほぼ中央。コントロールライン。
The control line in the
Goal
middle of the home straight. The goal.
そこへ直進で向かう。
Make for that point with all haste.
ダメよ。それではこちらが先に着く。待たされることになる。
That'll get us there too early. We'll be waiting for precious seconds.
時間の無駄は可能な限り減らさなくては。あの
Aim for
直
the
線の
beginning
入
of
り
the
口あたりで待つべきよ。
It'll keep time loss to a minimum.
いいな。それでは俺たちはアベンジの背を拝むことになる。そして二度と追いつけない。
By the time we get there, we'll be staring at Avenger's tail, and that'll be the last we see of her.
そんなはずは。
敵機の足はさらに伸びる。村正、俺の判断に従え。
The target's still accelerating. Do as I say, Murama.
了解。
Understood. She flies faster and faster. She's still going 580. Oji Misao's here. Oji Suguru is here. Their vengeance is here. The top of the world is there. 120. 04.
村正
Muramasa. 124.57. 124.89. 125.02. 125.07.
お父さん。私、
Will I make it, Dad?
届くかな。届いた
Did I make it?
かな。
125.10.
吉野恩流合戦霊法陣雷が崩し
Yoshino Onryu Kasen Reiho adapted from
レ
Jinrai.
ールガン Magatsu!
Railgun Magatsu. In the end, Muramasa's ultimate strike, the blade of light that split the sky and clove mountains, succeeded only in clipping the blue comet's tail.
Hmm. 見事。見事であった。王子兄弟。
Magnificent
そしてアベン
Oji
ジ。
Oji Suguru, Avenger.
お前たちの見せたきらめき。この光る。終生忘れぬ。
The light you siblings showed me, I'll remember it for as long as I live.
なあ、
Don't you agree?
村正よ。
Muramasa.
あのきらめきを我らのものとしよう。あの速さを我らが受け継ごう。
From this moment forward, that brilliance is ours. We shall be the ones to inherit their speed.
その速さをもって何をなす、ミ
What
ド
will you accomplish with such speed, Mido?
知れたこと。
You know the answer. What was our number? What is our target number? 125.13. She made it. 125.10. She made it. You know the answer.
天下に武を示す。
I'll spread the law of might across this land. I mean, isn't it already a might makes right culture? If you object to anything the Rokuhara do, they kill your whole city? Regardless of how big it is? That's why we don't have a Kyoto anymore? or much of it, or anything, or even have a Tokyo, I don't think. Because Kamakura is the most populated city and has 100,000 people.
うん。
Indeed.
そして父のもとへ至るのだ。
And I'll stand before my father,
この光に血肉を分け与えた。
for the man whose
父のも
flesh
とへ。
and blood I bear.
生まれながらに奪われていた父を我が手に取り戻す。た
I'll
だ
make him mine.
それだけが光の望み。
Take back what was stolen from me at my birth. That alone is the will of Hikaru.
愛する父をこの腕に抱くまで俺も走り続けてみせる。
Till I hold him in my arms and feel his love, I shan't
あ
rest.
の青い気鋭を越えていこう。
I'll keep running until even that blue Avenger is far behind me.
そっか。
I see.
さて影明よ、
Yeah then, Kageaki.
じらすのはそろそろやめだ。
Suppose I've teased you enough for now.
そろそろまたざれ合おうじゃないか。
I long for your attentions. Shall we dance once more?
野立ちの鞘。
The Nodachi's sheath.
ええ、
Yeah?
ミドまだ
Mido, she's still alive.
何？
剣は完全に破壊されたけれど乗り手はまだ。
The Tsurugi was destroyed, but the pilot's still alive. For now.
あの剣が守ったのか。
Maybe it protected her?
どうするの？
What will you do? I don't know what it's asking me. I don't know what it's asking me.
そう、わかった。
Alright, if that's how you feel, it... What?
ならせめてあの子が生き延びることを祈りましょう。
What was it asking me? Let's pray that she at least lives? What? I'm so confused why it popped up an interface there.
あ、
Yeah, sure. I have killed a Tori Kanai. My heart is a jackhammer. What? Alright, I killed a Tori Kanai. My heart's a jackhammer in my chest. Why? The act of murder never speeds my heart. It's a cold, empty thing that leaves me frozen inside. Why is Otori dead? Alright then? I'm a little bit confused. Ichijiro route? No, we had bond with Kanai. We had bond with Tori Kanai. We were going for the Kanai route. I guess we didn't do enough for Kanai and she's dead. Oh, we're supposed to keep them low to not kill them? I'm not really sure. That was the list. And she dies at 4 with Ichijo at 2. So whoever's at highest dies? Okay. Interesting. I guess so, huh? Yeah, it probably checked my status. It flashed my status, but it did give me a prompt of what to do. So I'm guessing it checks my status and was displaying what the current status was. Basically, what I should have done was, yeah, he kills whoever's highest affection. Alright. That makes sense. So we have to completely ignore the person we like, otherwise they die. It's good to know. Alright. Good to know. Okay. Why? The act of murder never speeds my heart. It's a cold, empty thing that leaves me frozen inside. Adrenaline, that's what it is. Adrenaline triggered by fear. I watched, waited until she was alone, and struck from above and behind, but at that moment she sensed my approach, turned, drew, and fired before I knew what happened. She was expecting my attack all along. Otherwise, why have a bullet in the chamber? Why would she not hesitate upon seeing her supposed ally? Even now, as the blood pools around her body, there's no trace of surprise on her face. There's only resignation. The expression of one who knows that she has fought and been defeated. It's the face of a soldier. I know what this means. She never trusted me, not even for a moment. She saw through my lies and misdirections. She knew me for what I am. But then why is she dead now? Why did she allow me to kill her? She could have taken my life 100 times. It would have been so easy. If she truly did not trust me, so why? Oh, surely not. Could she have wanted to trust me? I have no answer, and now she can't offer one. I can only look upon her corpse and tremble in horror at the knowledge that I've lost someone I desperately needed. Okay. Why didn't we just, like, axe the chick if we were gonna axe someone? That seems weird, but alright. Cool. Okay. Diary of Kamakura Circuit Mechanic. October 31st, Grand Prix, first place Tamura Avenger, second place Yokotan Superhound. Chokyo's Ultima led for most of the race but crashed and retired in the 19th lap. The pilot was killed. The night after the race, Tamura's Avenger took to the track for unknown reasons, crashed, and was destroyed. It's believed the pilot was Ochi Misao, but no tracer was found at the scene, and her whereabouts remain unknown. Around the same time, a mechanic was murdered in Tamura's garage. There's been no official statement regarding his death, nor any clue as to the victim's identity. See? He didn't reveal any. He just went in to murder them. Interesting choice. Cause see, he didn't even like make a statement about how they were like murdering people. He just went and murdered them and left. They were dead from the minute he decided to go after them. There are many rumors surrounding the above incidents. Most are ludicrous on their face. It's accepted, however, the gambling question played a large role behind the scenes at the Yamato Grand Prix. Several sources confirm Shokyo was in favor of legalizing it, while Tamura was against. Although racing fans are divided on the issue, many hope fervently for the return of Ochi Misao and Tamura's Avenger, the Blue Lightning, whose performance on the track has already become a legend. Those Avenger devotees have taken Tamura's side in the conflict, forming an organized front against the legalization of gambling. Shokyo is still determined to press the issue, but they have a hard fight against them. Okay. Chapter 3, The Avenger. Finish. Well, it certainly was an Avenger. Or it certainly tried. Dearest Cecily. Well, that was certainly an exciting chapter. And a couple things didn't go the way I expected. So I liked it. I was expecting none of the above on the track and thinking maybe the generals, but it turns out it's like the mechanic we were introduced to. All right. Good stuff for a mystery. I was expecting none of the Tsurugi, so none of the Tsurugi we saw, so I sort of got that part right, but I didn't get the who. Oh well, that was fun. I'd like to get started on the next chapter, but I'm afraid we're going to have to leave that one for next time.